Google wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money. It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
Good morning, traders out there. Welcome back to Trade the Pool, and we're excited for another day. Of course, we'll be taking a look to see what happened here with the jobs number, as we did get initial jobless claims to come in a little bit under. Let's take a look here. Let's pull it up, and I'll give you guys the exact numbers here as we take a look here and look at the numbers here, guys. We are starting to show what a lot of people are worried about, which is scared in the jobs market. And of course, the job market is cooling. It looks like initial jobless claims jumping to 247 versus the 236. Prior being 239, right? So the expectation was for this to come down, and we got this to actually get a spike up. This was revised from the 240, but initial jobless claims getting that little spike there. Also, non-farm productivity, though, coming a little bit higher than expected. That's actually a good sign there for non-farm productivity at a negative, at a 1.5 versus a negative number that was expected. So that's good to see that. And we'll see what happens with the action off of this, right? At the end of the day, there's not much action that happened on that number. You could see we kind of dipped, and the dip got bought almost immediately, right? And where did the dip go to, guys? It went right to that line that we've been seeing, right? So this is what we've been seeing in so many different areas, right? The SPY just getting bought right back up. It dips to that line, it gets bought off that line. So until we close underneath that line, I think we can continue just climbing the rally, right? And then we just got to keep putting these on the wicks and wait for a day that we actually close underneath those wicks. And that's going to be the day where I will start to look for more pullback opportunities. Right now, we're on a breakout opportunity, and I'm riding high on my swing trade, of course, on AMD. We'll see what happens with that. As you guys can see on the bottom right, I got that stock. We'll continue to watch to see if we continue to lift. This morning, we were up there to 119.35, looking for this to continue to push. The SPY, of course, pulling back there, but now getting the bounce. We'll see what happens. Can it bounce and hold on here as the SPY coming right back up after that scare? And the jobless claims are showing us something. The job market is cooling. Here is what it means for stocks, of course. And what it means is that we got to be on alert, because this is the type of things that are going to cause more talk of what? Recession. And I think that a lot of people are still out there worried about what's going on. They see the stock market going up, but the numbers and the hard data is starting to point more and more that the slowdown is coming, not already past us. And so we'll see what happens here with the market action. But as you can tell, right back up there. We'll see what happens with some of the stocks that are kind of leading that action to the upside. We'll see if NVIDIA can bounce back and get right back up there towards the trend line. And watching to see if we can just continue to chug along, right? XLK has been doing really well, and technology stocks just continuing to hold here. Well, look how the leadership kind of holds up, right? That's what I'll be watching for also. Microsoft, of course, has been one of the strongest stocks since that bottoming in April and holding on here. Meta also making a rip to the upside, right? And so we got to take a look to see, can Google start playing catch up? Can Amazon start playing catch up? This is one that I was watching earlier this week for a 206 entry. I did get in, and I just didn't hold it. I got stopped out on this name, actually. And now it's actually starting to make the breakout to 210. This is a name that I could see big money trying to jump into now that the tariffs are starting to get a little bit clearer in the picture, or at least where you can actually price them in and seeing if Amazon's going to make another lift off here. I think this is one of our top watches on the day, just in the big stocks. We'll talk more about it on the playbook, but Amazon came from this kind of flag action, been going sideways, just dipped here below on Friday, and ever since then, it's starting to hold the trend. Let's see if Amazon can start to make a bigger up move. We'll see what happens there in Amazon and other players. Let's go ahead. Let's get out of this. Let's go to the playbook. Let's take a look at what stocks I'm watching in the market. You guys out there, if you guys got a stock to watch, throw it up in the chat. It's good to see you out there, Vic, and others that are joining in. Smash the like. Let's keep it going. You guys know where you're at. It's, of course, Trade the Pool. Let's keep pushing, guys. Let's go to today's playbook. All right, traders, let's get to the action. Let's take a look at the playbook. The first stock up is going to be an interesting play, of course, that I've been already in, which is AMD, trying to ride it out, right? And of course, this is all about a bull flag breakout and an opportunity for this to continue, right? We'll see if we can get back through the resistance to the left-hand side. That's around the 122.50s. But ever since, this bottoming candle on Friday, we've been on a straight move up. We'll look for higher lows to continue and the 9 EMA starting to curl with the price action. The breakout to the 121s today could look really good on AMD. We'll see if it can continue just to chug along. Not looking bad, up about 4% on this, and we'll keep pushing. Of course, the swing entry was closer towards kind of that 1580s, right? Breaking towards the 116 and now breaking above. We'll see what happens. Can this continue to break? And of course, we all know how the volume has gotten in on this name, right? There's a lot of volume that got in here right when this broke the trend line. And now it's holding the trend line higher, sideways consolidation. It could be in a takeoff mode. We'll see what happens there on AMD. And just to point towards it, you can see how the MACD is also crossed back to the upside. Now let's see if it can expand away and really make a break to the upside. We'll see what happens there in AMD. All right, moving on towards a little bit more of a higher risk play, right? I'm going to bring in one that's interesting for me today is taking a look to see if we short CoreWeave today. I think it's already setting up here in the pre-market, so you might need to come after it this morning. And you can see it's already getting the hit. I was thinking about taking the short off of the 159s, but of course, getting ready for the show. Not trying to take too many trades and just get derailed, but CoreWeave already coming down from yesterday's 166. I was thinking about shorting this and swinging it short yesterday, but I was worried about it overnight gap into 170. But there it is, 155. And I think this could go even further. I think this could get back there towards 130 today. So CoreWeave finally pulling back. And that tells me to be careful with a stock like APLD that had made another jump higher, guys. It's up to 14. This could be finally pulling back today and going back to the 9 EMA, which would give me the opportunity to jump in, which is a move back towards 1050s. We'll see what happens there in APLD and CoreWeave. High risk, high reward setup. And of course, rejection of the upper Bollinger Band is another reason why I'd be looking at this as you're getting further and further away. You see how it's riding that upper band? Now, what is it doing? It's rejecting that band. It could have kept going towards the 170. It's starting to reject and going back to the midpoint. So in my eyes, I could look for at least the 9 EMA. If not, we could get a pullback to like 90. So I think this leaves room for a better kind of play where, yes, it is high risk, but it's also massive reward. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at a stock that isn't open yet, so I don't expect the stock to be trading. And yeah, I can't even pull it up, which is CRCL, but it's a fresh IPO, guys. It's going to be trading today. So keep your eyes on that ticker. Of course, this is going to be something to watch as it's a fresh IPO, and we'll be looking, of course, it has crypto. So we'll be looking to see what happens with this name. It's a stable coin, right? And I think that this is just one name that could get a nice spike today that we got to keep on the radar. Here's the ticker so that you guys can already have it down. CRCL. Keep an eye out on when that comes out. I'm sure we'll have it on our platform and able to trade it. So, hey, stick around, team. I'm excited. I think that will come out hopefully in the first hour of the market, and I'll be looking towards when that really starts to trade. Keep your eyes on it. CRCL. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other trades. Let's get to the Sunrise report. And of course, we'll take a look at what stocks are moving and why. If you guys have a stock that you guys are looking at, throw it up in the chat. I'll definitely catch it. It's good to see you out there. Joey, what's going on? Bill, thinking Tesla, opening drive short. Yeah, Tesla's a crazy one, man. CoreWeave, watch the 21 EMA on the hourly. Yeah, I'll take a look at that, Joey. And I think this is an interesting setup on both sides, right? One of the things is when stocks really go, they give us opportunities on both sides. It's not just the long. I think the long was in the 80s as it broke through the 100. You could have rode that back. Now, what comes on the way back, right? How far will the wave back be? We'll wait and find out, and we'll see how we're able to trade this. I am also keeping a very close eye on a stock right now. Oh, we're getting a rip here, guys. This is news related. I don't know what's going on. Qs just rip higher, guys. Be careful out there. This could cause some stocks to really move here. I might take some trades off of this, as I'm seeing some stocks make a move already this morning on this. CleanSpark was one that I was watching here, but NNE is also on my radar today. I don't want to miss that. So watching for some swing trades alert here, as we could be getting into some trades right now. So let's go ahead. Let's set up some trading action. I need to have both my platforms ready to go, ready to trade here. So there you guys have it. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. There was some news related action there. So I'm trying to catch it here, guys, as it happened. We'll go ahead and take a look here. Let me go into Benzinga Pro, seeing if I'm seeing anything on the tape there. Nothing right now, but there's something that just happened. Something, I'll tell you one thing. That was a quick rip up in the Qs. So something news related, maybe a Trump tweet or something like that. I'll be looking around to see if I can maybe find it. But like always, guys, catch the news as it comes in, because it's definitely moving the markets. And here we started to go here. I'm looking at CleanSpark as an opportunity here, but I'm also looking at NNE. CleanSpark looks good for the day trade here. I might take a shot right here, see if it's able to start making a breakout right in the pre-market. I do like this setup also. I'll show you guys it. CleanSpark. Let's take a look at the setup here. Okay, so here you guys see the setup. It's breaking above the 960s. Yesterday, I had this one already watching because it started to break above the 9. I think this could make a run to 10 here, and maybe it makes the run right now, right? And so we just broke the resistance, which was right around this 960s. So I can risk pretty much the 955 and look to see this continue to go. Doesn't look bad. I think I can get at least like 30, 60 cents there. So let's go with it. Let's see what we can get on this. Let's do about 400 shares. Let me see if I can get 400 shares right now. And Q's already pulling back there. So let's see if it reloads here and really starts to go. Another thing could be just looking at what moved the most in the Qs, right? We can take a look at that right here. So moving the most is news-related stocks, MongoDB. Of course, I'll talk about that in a second here. Dollar Tree getting a little bit of a spike. Looks like Google got a little bit of a spike. Micron, Amazon getting that spike. Of course, I talked about Amazon. Look at Amazon go towards 210.50. This is a strong move, guys. I think this is one definitely to watch. I wanted to swing trade Amazon just a couple of days ago, and you guys saw me open the position here, and there it is. ECB was earlier to cut rates, so I don't think it was the ECB. It had to be something else. I'm still looking for it because I definitely think that was news related. Something came out right now and something just changed. So I'll be watching to see what happened there. But definitely looking to see if this can continue to run. And the strength that we're seeing right now tells me keep an eye out open. Ethereum making the run. That's another one that I could trade here. So maybe it's Ethereum here because Ethereum runs faster, right? And so I like that ETHU run. And that tells me more and more. Look for that crypto name today, right? I think that would be a really good play to kind of keep an eye out for. But yeah, this one getting a little bit of a spike there from 6460s. ETHU really looking good on the bounce back. You can see it on the daily chart. Looks good on the 9 EMA, right? I'll be watching for this. I really do like the setup here. Could take a swing trade right now, but I would love to see it kind of come back to the 64s just for a second and then really reload. But it looks like we're pulling back right now from that 65.25. Can we get back to 64 and then really rip higher? We'll see what happens here. I'll be ready to take some trades. And you can see the stocks are moving today. ECB is talking. That's all I found. Okay, Bill, I appreciate you in the chat, man. And I appreciate you guys looking around. I'm looking too. But there was something, man. I can tell you, my years of experience, somebody said something because that was a quick flip and something had to have happened there. So we'll be keeping an eye out to see what other trades we can find here. Mara making a little bit of a lift. CleanSpark, of course. This is the one that I just talked about. It looks good. It just broke out above that $9. It could make a pullback today, about 50% of yesterday's kind of rally. And if you just put this towards the 964 right now, that'd be a move back to like 906. But right now, I'm looking for this to start really kind of pushing. CleanSpark looking good. MSTR is another one that I wanted to watch. I actually put these out on, of course, my Twitter, and now I'm watching MSTR trying to get above the 9. I might trade MSTX, which is the daily long, which is the leverage vehicle for this. It really doesn't look bad right now. I could risk off the 37 here, but I'm going to look to see if we can undercut that towards the open and make a move here. But I really do like that pullback just now towards 37 to 08, right? Because this could take off to 38s really quickly here. I don't mind taking the swing in this. So let me go ahead and just open up a little bit here and see if this really starts to move. And then we can, of course, just try to ride the rally, right? We'll see what happens here. 37 would be the best entry, but I might have to just grab it here at 37.50. Let's get to the sunrise report. I'm going to try my best to just kind of be patient with this. I do want in, but do I want to chase right here in the pre-market? I've been trying my best not to open too much right before the open, but we still got about 30 minutes here. So we'll see what happens here with MSTX and other names. Clean Spark just trying to hold in there. Ethereum above 65. The SPY went from a breakdown low to a breakout to the upside. Something had to happen there, guys. I'm gonna go looking for it. This has to be out there, guys. I'll find it on Twitter. Just give me a second here. There has to be something. Like it just doesn't move like that. So let me go ahead and try to find out what's going on here. Okay, there it is. There it is, guys. And I tell you guys this all the time. There's always something that I know about when I see things like this. I'm not lying, guys. There was news. President Trump and China's leader, Xi, had a conversation on the phone. This was given by Chinese state media, not U.S. state media. This is causing the lift. This is causing the rise. I'm going to come after some stocks here with this news. Let's go ahead. I'm going to try to take a little bit of MSTX here. Let me see if I can get a fill. All right, guys, grabbed a little bit there, a little bit of some MSTX long there. I'm also going to try to get some Clean Spark and some names out there right now with this kind of move. I think that we could just continue lifting off here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to try to grab some of Clean Spark right now and look to maybe add some on the pullback. There it is. I'm long some names, guys. I'm taking some trades here. You guys can see them at the bottom. I always tell you guys exactly how it is. Long there on the Clean Spark. And I'm also going to watch some tech names to see how they push on this. This is also going to help what? China names, right? Let's take a look at China names. FXI. I talked about Baba yesterday, how it was having a nice setup. That thing ripped all day, continuing the rip here. There was some bad news on PDD, but this could actually help PDD lift off, and look at PDD lift off there. So look for these names to kind of keep pushing. XPEV with a nice little push. So there it is, guys. You're seeing that nice little China lift off there. So keep your eyes to see what happens with this. And definitely Qi, yeah, that will make the stock markets lift here. And the Q's really getting the lift. The VIX drop in there. We'll see if this can continue to go. But yeah, you mentioned Qi. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Really kind of getting that lift off there, and taking some trades now, guys. And I think that we might need to open some trades here before the open. A lot of times I'm trying to give you guys the news, but right now it's more the price action that's leading the market, and I don't want to miss on trades. So I'm already starting to take the opening positions here. NNE is another one that I'm really looking at. The only thing is the spread's too wide this morning for me to jump in that. I did take some of that MSTX. We'll look to see if this starts to lift off. Can look for like a stock like Palantir that was weak yesterday to maybe flip and go green again. So it pulled off the highs, right? Came back to the 9 EMA, could reload there, right back through the 130, right back to the 135. So if you're looking for momentum names, this is also one that I'd keep on the radar to see if it gets back through that 130 today. But definitely momentum is on, and we'll keep watching. Definitely with that news, look at Amazon Go, man. Amazon's the one that I've been wanting for the swing this week. I've been talking about it. And this morning it was at 207s. Just a little while ago, 209 sideways, and then all of a sudden just ripping higher. Definitely need to try to catch Amazon on a pullback. There's a reason why I'd like to swing earlier this week, and it's just holding that 9 EMA really well. Really good like head and shoulders pattern too off this 200. Now if we break 214, that could be your neckline, and then we could really start to go on Amazon. I'd be watching also Meta, that's already showing signs of strength. looking like it wants to make a continued rally. This thing looks like it wants 700. And when Meta chugs along, it has a tendency of staying on the trend. We'll see what happens there with other stocks. Let's get to the Sunrise report. I'm going to try my best to just quickly run through some names, but let's go ahead. Let's bring on Michael with that. I'll run through some of the stocks, some of the stock action in the Sunrise report with Michael on. So let's just bring him on here. What's going on, my friend? How are you doing in the markets?
Another good day to be a bull. We'll see if we do a little bit more of sticking the breakout today, but yesterday was a really boring day. So I hope there's some excitement. Could be that we are just range bound like this until tomorrow with the jobs report, but hoping for some action.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that because that, to me, the jobs numbers have been all negative all week, and it's not looking good, at least in that side. So I don't want them to have the excuse of knocking the markets with the jobs report. I want them to kind of lift this market off today and say, forget your initial jobless claims today. Just continue going higher, as initial jobless claims already showing that spike. So I don't think anybody's going to be leaning bullish on that jobs report tomorrow, but we'll see what happens, right? And I think that's what
doesn't depend positive or negative. Depends if it's more positive or more negative than expected. I think that'll be the big thing. And a perfect world is a really bad jobs report we rip anyway. Just goes to show that the market is because again, it's not the news that we're looking for; it's the market's reaction. So if the reaction is good on negative news, then that to me would be a bit of a perfect scenario. But I'm long everything, so any day that we rip is a good day for me. I hope
getting this report this morning about Qi and Q's spiking right back up. What I love is the timing. The timing is so impeccable. So after we get some jobs data and they see the stocks ticking down, out of nowhere, they throw out this report that Trump and Xi were having a conversation. It didn't happen 20 minutes ago, guys, the conversation. So this is kind of one of those press releases where it was really, really kind of watched, ready to go. They had it waiting, and then they just threw it out there. So what I think is interesting, though, is that this came from Chinese state media, not necessarily our media. And we all know Trump's been trying to, put his chest out saying that he's going to have a conversation with China. I think it's interesting that they didn't bring it up, but we'll just leave that on the sideline, at least something to think about. Let's see if we really get the takeoff here. I think we have that potential of already taking off. The market doesn't like to wait for the open, especially if it's going to make a bigger move. It'll just lift off here and say, forget you. You're not going to be able to get a chance to buy this. So that's why I'm taking some positions here. And I think that, we got to be looking for that type of move. I'm taking MSTX based on this MSTR. I like CleanSpark too. So I went after CleanSpark on the daily. Yesterday, I talked about how that was really setting up. It had a nice move yesterday. It went 40 cents, a nice 4% move, and really starting to lift. These are stocks that I really want to watch today. Of course, with the new IPO also coming out, I think we can keep an eye out on anything crypto today. Of course, Hood also going to be more than likely included in the S&P 500 editions on Friday. So look to see more and more information come out on this. And I think that we look to see some of those S&P ads as stocks that can continue ripping higher. We can go through a list. I have the list for you guys. We'll go through that during the market open, see how those are reacting, like AppLovin and other names that are on there. So we'll see if any of them are kind of getting the lift beforehand. I think Hood has already been on the breakout to the upside. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the Sunrise report. What was on today's Sunrise? It's a lot of the earning stocks that kind of got the move. Biggest stock, of course, that MDB move. MongoDB just completely taking off here after really kind of coming back a lot. And I think, could this be the start of a bigger move? At least the monthlies look a lot better when you start to really kind of whipsaw back up like this. What do you think about MongoDB here? Have you ever traded Mongo?
Yeah, I've used MongoDB too. It's a good software, right? Software, I think is
software,
the
exactly.
ticket going forward. These are going
developer,
to
right?
From AI.
It beat on earnings and revenues. It raised full year 26 outlook. What are you thinking here? It's not a bad breakout. I think it's just too fast.
It's got that gap to fill, right? So I think it might gravitate to that gap. Massive level that it bounced off of, right? That 150
Yeah.
was the zone forever. So makes sense. Buyers at support, see if it closes the gap. What happens then?
We'll see what happens with that one. Definitely MongoDB with a big move up. And then Variant Systems, another big move up today, 19% higher. No, it's not C, VRNT. Look at this one. Nice little pop off the bottoming chart, and very similar charts, right? Bottomings, kind of the base, and then rip to the 200. 200's right there. Same chart that happened on the stock we were just looking at. This EPS came in at 29 cents versus 22 cent expected. Revenues at 208 versus 195 million estimate. Nice lift here. In Variant Systems. I haven't traded this one, so I'll probably leave it on the sideline, but we'll see if this can continue pushing. Hourly support could come into play.
Never heard of that guy, but same thing, right? It's filling a gap right now. See if that gap acts as resistance there.
Yep. And then last one I'll just bring up there, and then we can talk about some other conversations later. Of course, that IPO spotlight that I talked about, that Circle Internet Group, that's CRCL, priced at 31 share. Not open right now. I'm going to be trading on the New York Stock Exchange under CRCL, so keep your eyes on that. There's an Uber board shakeup as Uber announced a new CEO. So it looks like the CEO, Palo Alto, will join its board. Not a bad person to join its board, and definitely something to kind of keep an eye out there. Planet Labs also up 15%. This is a space satellite stock. I'd keep an eye out on the space stocks, guys. They're getting hot again, and there's one name that really made a nice move yesterday, ASTS, with a nice breakout towards the 29, and this is looking really prime time on the weekly and monthly. So if you look on the bigger time frames, especially the monthly, how does that look? That looks really pretty, really kind of bullish. And what I like is how you've actually come and gotten through two earnings reports there that could have got you right back into, let's say, the $10 range, right? But now you're testing back towards the top end of these top wicks, and you really could put a body close towards, let's say, 35 or 36 and get to 40s. What I saw, what was mentioned on ASTS, and which is important, which was a deal with I think it was, what was the company? And I got to pull it up here. Just want to give you guys the news exactly. So it was a deal yesterday on potential investment. So it's a deal with Amazon, right? And I think this is very important because what they're pretty much speculating is that Amazon needs to spend 13 to 16 billion in their constellation of 3,236 satellites, right? But ASTS current market cap right now is around $8.3 billion. And what they're noting is that if there was a strong partnership here, they could essentially get a lot of that money that Amazon's trying to spend, which would, of course, raise the valuation here from what they're valued on and what Amazon's trying to spend on this. So that's why the speculations come into ASTS. And when a stock stays up like this, it makes a huge breakout from a stock that was not valued, makes a huge breakout, but actually can stay around for like it is now, which has been pretty much a year sideways up here. Yeah, this is probably no longer going to be a $5 stock. This is going to be more of a, maybe in the $20 to $30 range. And now it's making an attempt to go towards the 40s and 50s. So we'll see what happens on this one. I'd keep an eye out on it. Space stocks looking good. Planet Labs, some support there. We'll see what happens on some of these. Rocket Lab also not looking bad either, right? So, hey, just to mention a different play that some people are not keeping a close eye on. Another one that had some news today, GFS. So this one had some investing news. I would keep an eye out on this. I know a lot of people really loved this company when it came out. This could be one of those IPO moves that we see all the time, Michael, where it starts, in an ugly sense, and then all of a sudden rips higher, right? So Global Foundries is you're in the right space, semiconductors, right? We'll see what happens. This is one that I'd keep an eye out for. Good investment announced today with them. It's like a big $1 billion plan kind of thing. So keep your eyes on that to see if it gets the lift.
Such
That's
a
enough.
weird looking chart. Like that's
Yeah.
just, it's just strange looking. I don't know if I've ever seen just the crazy back and forth action. Yeah, I just don't know if I've ever seen a chart look like that before.
It seems to me like this is like almost like a sell program. Every time it gets to the high of the day, it gets sold into, right? Like every time, like prior day high gets shorted into, prior day high gets shorted into. But what you want to see, does it flip that, right? You see how the light blue line has stayed on the top end of that. Can we make a quick move to like 50? Those are the types that you see, like, let's say like when ARM started to come down here, and ARM's probably not the best example of it. Maybe Coin is more an example, right? So what you want to see is like this quick lift off, right, and it not come back. That's what I'll be looking for on that GFS. Let it show me like a quick move to 50, and then when it starts to pull back and doesn't come back to that 36, then I could start playing it somewhere between 50 and 40. But we'll see what happens on that. That's an interesting trade. Q's hanging on here, looking like they want to continue to push off of this. Do you think that we can continue getting the lift with what was mentioned, at least a call, giving us a big spike here? FXI still looking good. What are you seeing in the markets, Michael?
Well, I really like that. You mentioned Uber for a second there. I brought that up. I think that might be the best looking chart on the street right now. Like just pulling back this area, this 81, 82 area has just been massive. Then we got an anchored view app from that major low. Just got a whole bunch of support going on back there. So with a news catalyst to try to get us woken up, bounce off that level.
Yeah.
I think I might be buying some Uber today on first swing. Like look at that SPY. Again, just range bound. We had a little pop up, but right, we are currently still below yesterday's high, and we did absolutely nothing yesterday. You zoom into yesterday's candle; it was the smallest candle in a very long time. Both top and bottom, open and close, not a lot of action, and we're inside that range again today, right? So this is one of those days to be a little cautious, right? Don't swing for the fences, go really, really crazy.
Go.
We have absolutely nothing until the afternoon where we got some Fed people that no one cares about speaking. So don't have a big catalyst to shake us up. So just be careful. So another one of those days where I will be very quick on the profit trigger until the market shows me something else, which I think is pretty much a break of, this high that we had based off of news here. So just really, really range bound type action. Wouldn't be surprised to see us come in and test the pre-market lows or yesterday's low, which would also be this low right here. So that's 595 and a half. Are we going to come back to that all important zone? Interesting though to see Bitcoin finally recovering somewhat. I don't want to jinx us. Every time we've gotten up in this area over the last 4 or 5 days,
Bitcoin.
we've reversed. But I really do think
plays on you today.
Yeah, I really do think it's the key. I think if we get this Bitcoin start to come back up into the 107s, 108s, that's showing us this risk on, and then the market can finally lift again. I don't know if we're all going to wait for tomorrow. If you have a giant order to fill, do you do it before or after, this big number? But who knows? So I'm going to start the day in scalp mode, in which I'm going to have, a bunch of those. Just take my trade, take half off the table as quick as I can. Hold that, for a little bit of a move, because until we can get shaken up here in any way, I'm a little bit worried. But yeah, look at this. Look at the intraday chart. This is a 2-minute chart on Bitcoin. So we're lifting.
I had that. I mean, there's a reason I like a ETHU today also. I just need a pullback. I need a pullback. I have an alert set for 64. So like, give me a little bit. Give me like a little wash out the gates. I'm ready to jump back in. I'll be watching for these. I think it's a good move. That's why I saw the miners, I think, starting to kind of prop up a little bit. And I think that now you can really get the run today. And if I might get this Ethereum opportunity at 64 right now. I wouldn't mind it because it did do that 65 pop. So I need a little bit of a pullback to get in it. But let's see. MSTX already working in my favor, already starting to get a little bit of a jump. Of course, I went with the ETF on the swing just to try to get the kind of the buying power, right? The buying power advantage, especially when you only have a limited amount of buying power, right? And I want to be in multiple positions. So that's why I have also AMDL, and that's up 5%, looking good this morning. AMD, let's get AMD to completely break out, man. I've seen AMD put in some big candles before, and I think it's really starting to get. If you look at the longer term, it really is starting to at least look like if this is a bullish breakout, sideways consolidation, and wants to go higher.
Yeah, prior highs here at 180, right, a long way off, but that'd be a great risk reward. It's really, I think, we gotta see, because currently the SPY again didn't stick the landing above yesterday's high, broke up there a little bit, a news kind of chase event, and now we're back below yesterday's high. So this is the big area that I'm watching. That's kind of 598 on the nose. So I can put that right there.
Yeah, I think they might take it to 600 before the open. That's a big part of what I'm watching for. We'll see what happens here.
They got to get going. They got to get going for 15 minutes.
No, I think one of the things is I think they're trying to scare out the remaining shorts. At some point, the shorts are going to start capitulating. One of the easiest ways is as you get closer and closer to these all-time highs, you do these wicks, and they're just not breaking. They're not breaking, and at some point, you're going to start to see it. And we got 2 wicks, and even this wick this morning broke that support there, and it came right back up. So
yeah. Well, we know, right? We know they're short. We've been saying that, right, for weeks now, all the way back at 520, that these guys had to cover, and they're not going to cover when the market's going up, right? They're going to wait for every down tick, and then they're going to slam in their buy orders then when there's liquidity. So that's why I think you've been seeing that. It's every time there's a little bit of a down tick, you get that bought up, because if you're short billions of dollars worth the S&P 500, you're not chasing that thing on the way up. You're just not doing it unless you absolutely are like getting liquidated from your broker. You are every down tick. That's when you're turning on the buy program. Gets a little too extended. You're turning it off and kind of hoping and praying it comes back down. So just some of the ones I've got on kind of the scanner today with Tesla. I really like the fact that this one's down. It recovered that 333 area that we talked about yesterday. Down a little bit again today. So this is the perfect setup that I look for, is right below VWAP pretty much all morning. Looking for a pop through. I have the robot program that when this goes off, it will just do a TSLL, just because it's a double long, buying power, all that kind of stuff. Robinhood, just going to look potentially take a short in that one if we get a little overextended here. Actually, we see that here, just to get VWAP to VWAP move with the scalp. This MCTR, I'm going to look to see, had a big down day yesterday and then it's gapping up today. So it is still below its 2-day VWAP. So if it can kind of rally back up through, get through VWAP today, again, that's another VWAP move. MULN, I can't believe I am going to potentially buy this absolute scam of a cult company, but it's doing the setup. So I got to. And then Google, right, rallying all morning long. So if this gets back through VWAP, then we short it to the 2-day VWAP. So there's Robinhood. I just heard the British man. A little bit of a short there again. So just draw that out from here to here. Ooh. And I do have stop losses in the pre-market. They're not actual stop losses, but they are a clever way around them with kind of limit orders. So we will see.
Amazon, guys. I really feel like that's the move I don't want to miss today. It's already gone, so it's hard to approach this chart now. I need a pullback. So I can jump into Amazon today. We'll see what happens with that, especially also with mentions of thinking about creating droids to run their warehouse. That's a big move to deliver also.
That was the
And
which makes sense. If you can't do self-driving yet, you get someone to drive and park, and then you get the way I kind of read it was that you park in a neighborhood and they just send out a bunch of drones, drop the stuff off, get back in the car, off to the next. Still, you can do self-driving, and then they just do that part too. Right? You don't need people at all for that.
And then this is also comes into play with what a lot of people think will happen, right? Which is already happening, which is drone delivery. So I think it's going to be a combination of like robots and drones. Because
especially for the drones will be good for like apartments and stuff. But I've got a massive backyard. I wouldn't mind if something flew over and dropped my stuff in the backyard and
then flew right back out, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's just the way it's going to be, guys. And the one thing is going to be important is the skies, right? At the end, what would that would be the FAA, right? The FAA would have to really be on top of their game.
Well,
I mean, right now you got to register
before people started
drones and
shooting them
stuff.
down in the States. Do you remember those stories?
Yeah.
They tried a program in Texas and stuff, and there was just these guys in their backyards had no idea what they were, and just blasted them out of the sky. And it's like, it's one of those fuzzy legal things where if you fly over my property, right, I own a certain amount below the ground of my property and a certain amount above. So you got to like pass these laws that you're not allowed to shoot these things down, or people will just be spying the ones that are carrying expensive stuff and trying to take those out.
It's interesting. RCAT, though, the stock we should definitely bring up. Really great trade yesterday. I sold this guys into the 803s, so it was a really nice swing on an intraday trade. It was a swing trade that became a day trade because I just made too much money, and I was like, I'm going to take it. But at this point, I'm looking for a pullback on this. I like it. It's already up higher, though. It's 826 now, right? So I think I got to look for at least some attempt towards the inside candle or something. But we're starting slightly above yesterday's high, right? 819, right? So maybe we do a little bit of a wick here, come back through the 8, and then I'll look for a little bit of a rip off here. But RCAT is definitely on the radar. And just to give you guys another one, right? UMAC is the one with Trump's son on, and that some people are watching this is Unusual Machines. So keep your eyes on this one. Nice little trend break, similar to RCAT, and getting hot, right? Last 4 days, hot, 6 to almost 750 now. So if you want to watch this, hey, there you guys have it. I'm always going to give you guys names that I find in a theme so that you guys can stick with them and go ahead and nail it. We'll see what happens there.
SPY pulling back just a bit here. Right, down through VWAP, back up through VWAP. So we're chopping.
The Qs at least are a little bit out of their daily range, right? That's what I'm watching too. I feel like the Qs are leading the market, not the SPY here. That's one thing.
Yeah, well, it's definitely been tech that's been
like kind of getting the last that and I wouldn't say as always, because I think like earlier in this move it was like a little bit of a mix. Remember, we were even getting like the financials that stayed hot first, and financials kind of went on the sideline. But to all-time highs push is usually going to be tech, right? Like if we're going to get there, it's going to have to be these big boys. That's why I like Amazon and Meta right now. And then Microsoft, just because it's stair-stepping higher, right? Those three of the big boys seem to be where I'm going to be watching. And I feel like Amazon is the one that if I was a money manager, right? I'm just at my desk today. I'm still trying to find ways to go long this market. I hear that Trump and Xi are finally making phone calls. The major concern for Amazon is China goods and tariffs on China. You're starting to see that develop, right? You're hearing good catalysts like Droids mentions. Maybe this is the time to load the boat in Amazon, right? Because it's also off. It hasn't run as much as the other ones. So you can say to your, like, you know, to anybody that you'd have to talk about your trade idea with, that, hey, this is only off the lows about 24%, but it's still away from the highs about 14%. We still got ways to maybe get Amazon back to that high. And maybe this is the area where we can start coming in, right? Because going after a Meta or a Microsoft, Microsoft's actually over the high, right? Is it a new high? Microsoft?
Yeah, Microsoft.
Is that a new high?
MSFT.
I think that's a new high.
Yep. New all-time highs.
Yeah. So like
Very
this one,
barely,
right?
but
It's
yeah.
hard to go after that one because you don't know where you're going to, right? I think Amazon might be the one that they start to really kind of pile in. Apple could be also it, but the concern there is further, right? Like the concern for dropping is further in Amazon than Apple. Apple than Amazon, right? Amazon, I think, is also getting the lift with the cut around with PDD. I don't know if you guys saw that headline. I could bring the headline up here. I know they had it here. Here it is. I always like to kind of give you guys also what I'm seeing out there. And I didn't put this on the sunrise, but I think it's also important. I'll show you guys it here. This is a report from CNBC about how these kind of Chinese companies are seeing the demand plunge because of the trade loophole closure. And so, with that being said, that could also be helping Amazon, right? So, I always like to kind of give the stories of what's out there. That could be also helping the Amazon push right now. So we'll see. That's a good looking stock there. All right.
Yeah. Mike,
5 minutes. 5 minutes here. I'll go to you, Michael. What do you want to take a look at here before the bell?
Well, we just got a couple names at all-time highs. We got Meta getting close. I did a whole video on my channel about buying all-time highs and how buying all-time lows makes you bankrupt and buying all-time highs makes you money. So looking at some of these stocks that are getting close, including defensive names, and then Hack is another one. Again, just showing a little bit of action today. But again, the SPY, we're watching this 598, right? So far, every time we get close to it, we fade through. So we need to see that kind of stick the landing for me to get really excited on any of these names, potentially to the long side. This Robinhood down a little bit on, but like a lot of these names you can see are from the short side, just because, again, that's kind of my thought for today is that we've got a massive number tomorrow that everyone cares about. If you are a fund manager sitting at your desk, are you thinking today's the day to really pull the trigger and buy a whole bunch of stuff? Or do you think it's like, hey, today's the day to put my feet up and take a little bit of a rest, and then tomorrow, when we have clarity on those numbers, that's when I'll start to punch into things. So I'm in the prove to me it's not going to be a choppy day type of action, right? So that to me again means kind of sticking the landing above yesterday's high, holding there for a period of time, or doing some sort of pullback that holds yesterday's high and then bounces from there, right? And again, all this is bullish. We finally broke out of this range. If we consolidate for a number of days around this range, I think that's very bullish. We don't need to hugely push up right away, but all-time highs is getting very, very close, and the bears are going to weep when that happens.
Spread is widening out here in CleanSpark. It's interesting. The spread widened out more than the range. We'll see what happens there.
Not a lot of volume.
Not a lot of volume, and then it's weird for it to be this wide, though. So we'll see what happens.
Like
1,000 shares every 68 and hasn't even traded up there. We'll see what happens, guys. Definitely seeing it wide. We'll see how it reacts out the gates here. Only got 300 shares, so I'll be able to protect myself. I'm just looking to see if this rips out the gates through 10. I think it might just do a quick move through 10, and then it's be watching the pullback. We'll see what happens on that. And the SPY, right? It's just hanging out there. It's just hanging out on the VWAP, hanging out on the VWAP. We'll see which way it picks a direction here. Just got an alert there. I need to find what the heck it was. Oh, it was NNE. Still got NNE on the radar to get back in through 30. It's trying to make that move right now. But I'm watching it, guys. I'm watching it. I'm going to get back in this thing. Misplayed it on the first time around. But that doesn't mean that you just burn the bridge and stop watching the name. I think that's the important part. What you got here, KWM?
Yeah, just someone mentioned in the chat. He's
All
crazy.
Right, let's take a look there.
I mean, D-SPAC at 11, go to $1, gap up.
There's a SPAC today that's actually the interesting one to watch. CCIX. I'm watching this one. It did combine with an AI company, but just keep an eye out on it. Just keep an eye out on it, man. Of course, let it show you that it's really hot, like a big breakout towards 12, and then it just keeps going. But I think you keep an eye out on it, man. Some of these have really ripped higher. So it's something that I'd set an alert and not watch it until it breaks that alert.
Yeah. Yeah, right now, pretty significant gap down on it. This one is somehow was a company and then went back to a SPAC and now it's a I don't. This chart's confusing me.
Yes, yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened.
So sure, why not? So do
Yeah,
all those
you
people
can't pay attention to
burned
the
out?
left. All that
Yeah.
you can't pay attention to. That doesn't matter to the left. I would focus on the
Okay.
recent action. But the key here is it's a bigger SPAC going after an AI company, and so of course AI you focus in. That's why I'm still watching GSRT. I don't believe in this company, but doesn't mean that I'm not going to watch it because if I can catch SPAC 2.0, I'll tell you one thing: I don't want to miss it. Let's go, guys. Let's go trading. Let's have some fun.
And we're open. I got short Apple and this APLD right off the gate, or not Apple, Robinhood. Geez, and APLD right off the gate. Draw that in for you too. Robinhood selling here a little bit. We have Bitcoin pulling back just a little bit as well. I'm going to watch this Robinhood closely just because, again, I mentioned this trade in the pre-market and we're getting that sell right off the jump. So I just want to keep an eye on this just in case we reverse, just to cover, put some money in the pocket right off the bat on that one.
All right. Looking around, trying to see if MSTX is going to hold here and just break out above the 38s. I'm in at 3750s. Looks good here out the gates, but I also don't want to risk too much right here. I'm going to look for it to just make the breakout and keep going. Looks good already for a 38 break. We'll see what happens with that one. Got a little bit of a pullback here in Clean Spark, so about to get out in Clean Spark. Willing to get back in if I need to, but I'm going to let it tap here. We'll let it break the 50s, the 950s, and I'm willing to get out, and then I'll get back in if I need to. NNE gave me an alert, so I might get into that.
SPY is selling here off the open, so just be careful, right? Came back up to that yesterday's high at that 598, and now it's selling. Just like I mentioned earlier, I expect we could test these lows, right? Chopping back and forth. No one taking huge bets with such an important number tomorrow, right? Why would you take a big bet today when you could just do that tomorrow? So again, range bound kind of action. Hood is not participating. End up getting just a little bit out in this range, but not nearly enough. Google triggering short there as well. So I heard the man yell at me for that. So this is less exciting about this one because I think it's going to be like a 1-to-1. Yeah, risk reward on that. But we got a couple of those. So APLD working out very slightly. We have Hood working out very slightly. It's wish that stuck the landing a little bit more. And then we have Google all to the short side.
All right, there's a nice lift right back in Clean Spark, trying to get back through the 960s here. Let's see if it can really start to push here. Grail's giving me alerts out there, guys. I'm going to keep an eye out on that name. Of course, I really like it. I got rid of it yesterday. Break even. Just going to keep watching it. I think it still has a really good developing daily scale, daily chart. Just needs to get above 41 and find some buyers. Out on that MSTX for $15 loss in the swing account. I want to look to get in a little bit more, but I'm going to give it a chance to pull back a little bit here.
So yeah, Hood stopped out the second half, or the second bit. So about a break-even trade on that. It's really nothing to note, but nice reversal there in Hood, pushing to new highs, even without Bitcoin participating and without the market. So the market's going down, and Bitcoin's going down a little bit, but Hood can't stop, won't stop. APLD did a little soul. I heard part of my position got taken off. I was just targeting right pre-market lows and then the ultimate target of the 2-day VWAP here. And then again, Google nothing really in that one. So the SPY continuing to pull back. And am I actually going to go? Yep. I am actually long MULN, and it kind of hurts me inside to
Good
do
Lord.
so. I know.
I don't know if I could take you serious, Michael, with that.
Systematic. You got to do it. So it's a 2-hour trade.
I'm sending you to the dentist, my friend.
I know. It hurts. It hurts me deep inside, but
You go to the dentist today, my friend. You're gonna go check out those cavities.
yeah. For those who don't know why we're joking, is like the high of the stock is like 200 quintillion or something like ridiculous like that. It's just this is a cult. It's a scam and a cult all kind of boiled into one.
Yeah.
But every now and then it gets picked up by these Discord rooms and it makes like a 300% move completely out of nowhere. And then people go, oh, yeah, this is a scam. And then it goes right back down eventually.
Oh,
But
yeah.
so far, so good.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys, looking to see if CleanSpark can hold the pullback here to 958s and then take off. If not, I'll get out of it. But it's interesting, at least out the gates here. AMD still kind of holding on. It's not like ripping, but it's holding on at least. That's a good sign. VIX getting a little bit of a jump back towards 52. I do see that. Amazon did do that dip, and it got bought real quick, man, real quick. So that strategy on Amazon looking pretty good there. We've talked about this strategy plenty of times. It's already working here. So I'm looking to try to get in on a pullback to the VWAP. 209.50s, but it's already up there to 210s, and it got bought out to 208 real quick. Look at Amazon go back to 211. That shows me some institutional buying, at least right out the gates there.
Yeah.
Stepping up there in an area that normally retail traders are scared to step up.
It's interesting to see a lot of this where you're having, Robinhood and Amazon and some of these names ripping with the market just down off the open. So it definitely shows we're getting one of those split markets, which is like we talk about all the time. That's indicative of chop, right? If the overall indexes are choppy, it could be because you're getting some winners, some losers, that type of thing going on. But we still have Bitcoin pulling back, so we have to be a little careful that it pulled off right off the opening of equities off the gate there. And yeah, just watching the rest of these, my MULN is funny enough doing fantastically, and it's just. This is why you trade systems, because if it was me, if I had to push the button, I wouldn't on this, but I didn't. So nice little push up. Is it halted? I think it's halted.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, pray for me.
It is. No, you're golden.
Good.
You're golden, man.
So yeah, the target here is 1712. I was looking to kind of punch out part early, but I did not. So I may just hold this to target. Again, the 2.5 hour trade on it on this is why you don't bring your
Joby's
thought processes into trading, right?
Joby's looking good.
J-O-B-Y.
I don't know about that one though, Michael.
If I make the money, it's green and the bank takes it. Doesn't matter if it's on a cult or not.
Yeah, I just can't do it, man. I just can't do it.
Yeah,
Joby looking
MSCR
good though. Joby, I'll break over this 8. Looks good. I would love a pullback to 8 here, but it's like just stair stepping and it might just go.
It's really weird to see this Robinhood so strong. Not because it burnt me a little bit, but
I think the S&P ad is really helping it. Some people are buying the rumor, selling the news. That I think it would be a nice looking sell on tomorrow.
Usually ends up how it happens is that when the announcement of getting at it, we saw it didn't really help Coinbase too much, it capped up there and then it's done kind of nothing ever since. But yeah, sometimes a run up into that rumor.
All right, let's go for a scalp. I'm not usually into these plays, but it looks good here on Joby. Let's go for it. I'm going to take the buy here right now. Just took it, guys. Joby, long Joby off the 9 here. Looking for it to break towards the upside and start to break out. I like the hourly look especially. It could go to like 845 here. Let's see if it starts to break out. I know it's a stock that retail's watching. Just got a pop. Could come back to 8. That's only an 8-cent drop here. Or 6-cent drop, and then I'm looking for the breakout above 8/10.
Yeah, Very, very bifurcated market here.
That PL looking strong. Planet Labs. Good mention, Steph.
Oh, that's the space one.
Yep. Space satellite. It's like a better Google Earth. Black Sky is related. You could watch to see if Black Sky follows it as a leader laggard style trade. BKSY. APLD. That was pulling back today, right? I had that feeling. CoreWeave is the one that I wanted to go after on the short side. And look at that. Oh, Mitch, why don't you do it sometimes? Why don't you do it? Oh.
Get a robot to do it. You come up with the idea, right? It takes the trades.
Maybe hosting shows sometimes gets me distracted. But CoreWeave, man, I was talking about shorting that yesterday. It's down to 150 already. It was at 165 yesterday. I should have just taken the swing short. Could have been just annihilating that. That's a tough one. Tough one.
Yeah, Google
Ethereum
came
going down. So that's going to be one that I'll watch here.
Very close to stop me out, but not yet. APLD is doing well. Again, I took part of it off just right in this area. And then the only other one is MULN, which I'm just waiting to get unhalted. It would be nice to unhalt at 1772, which is my target. Then I never have to see these ones ever again. The Tesla, yeah, I'm still watching this from the long side, but just
SPY still leaking.
No trigger yet. Just
SPY still leaking, guys.
So just what we thought. So the question is, now that we are at roughly yesterday's low, the pre-market low, and this kind of swing low from right here, is do we dig in and push higher, right?
Yeah, I gotta set some maybe some stop entries, something like that, to get in. Talk, I'm with you on that.
I know one guy who is a 7-figure day trader, and he does just that. Right before the open, he's got a whole bunch of order boxes filled out for his trades for the day. Yeah. He hits the button, and that's it. He just waits for the positions to either come into his order box or his blotter or not.
It's so frustrating on CoreWeave,
just manages it, right?
Oh, that CoreWeave, man. And one of the things that I was thinking about, and this is just like a style of trading to talk about, right? I was thinking about doing like a short CoreWeave, long APLD kind of hedge pair, but it's a difficult pair to do. But I think it could have worked out too, because you can see the kind of action there. And so you kind of can hedge on that aspect. But CoreWeave, I just felt like it was just way too extended. And it was getting to the point where it's a third wave. A lot of times I see this kind of waving action, third top, really doji looking candle close yesterday. Perfect action there. All right, guys, getting the trigger in NNE to add to my long there, guys. So adding to my swing trade in NNE here, I'm long 29.93. Now I have 100 shares again, right below my prior entrance, which is 29.95. What did I do there? I put a first entry in at like 29. First entry here, I'll tell you exactly. First entry was 29.85, and then I put a stop entry at 30. I said, well, add me at 30. Show me that you want to break out above 30. I'll add there, and then look for this to start to rip. We'll see what happens on NNE. Taking the shot, guys. Gotta get this swing account going. At least it's in the green, in the right direction. Same thing with the day trading eval. Just gotta keep battling, guys.
It's a little bit of a bounce there on the markets. It looks like it could be fading. So again, keep a watch out. We came right to, and this is why this level was so important. If we go back, you can look at all the different times that this was tested, right? It was the low of yesterday. It was the low of the pre-market. It was the low today so far. And then this kind of junk area back here. We came right back there. We put in a nice little 2-minute bounce. Now we see, does this hold or do we roll over here? Again, I don't expect much from the upside. I don't expect much from the downside today. I expect this kind of choppy type action, right? So with APLD, it took a little bit off at this pre-market low right here took a little bit off into this flush. Now just holding the rest of that. Google still underwater on, but not too bad. And MULN, we wait still. So I've just
the
got
bros, man. I should have got my coffee this morning. That thing is rocketing.
Bro.
The bros, man. The bros. Only bros know that Dutch bros is the way.
Oh, I just opened MULN on another chart. I don't know. It's only supposed to be like 5 minutes. It's closed for, right?
No, well,
That's the
there's
first halt.
5 minutes and then there's the 15-minute ones. You might be getting the 15-minute halt on Mullen. Forgot where you could check that. I think it's the exchange website where it gives you the halt code. But that's one way you can check it, guys. There'll be like a halt code. The worst ones, the T2 halts. Oh my God. Have you ever been stuck in one of those, Michael?
Yeah, the news. Let's wait till we chat
News
about news
pending.
that may or may not.
They should call it the real trade. Capital locking. The capital locking halt. You're not allowed to get out. You're not allowed to get in, baby.
It's not as bad. I know a guy who was stuck in, geez, what was it? It's one of those, the Russian companies when they delisted those off the exchange. Wabam. All right, is it halting again? I'm out.
No.
There we go.
How'd you
Done.
get out?
I'm out. That was a target. 2-day VWAP.
Oh,
I didn't quite get that. This was around 7:45, I think is my out.
The
Probably all together.
Mollinator.
In, out. It's a scam. Don't hold this thing. I hate this company. I think I hate it more just because the people who are in it don't understand that it's a scam. So
even the board doesn't understand it's a scam.
Oh, they know. They've been lining their pockets on this. It's one of those. Remember when every garbage company was putting out like a press release on like naked short attacks or whatever? This was like the king of that, and that just doesn't. And right back down and halted. So no, I'm done with this company. I'll take that as a win. I think that is my first and likely only trade on MULN, and I'll be fine. So APLD short and Google short, still a little underwater. Google and APLD paying just a little bit. So overall, good day.
All right, getting the wash here in NNE. It went down fast there, guys. I think it's just following the market. Market coming down fast there. Let's see if the market can bounce. If not, it's approaching that trend line that I talked about, guys. We have yet to approach this trend line. I think in the intraday, it's always been these pre-market looks, and we're approaching that trend line now. So we could go for a real VIX move here. Seeing at least the opportunity there. We'll see what happens. We're approaching this line pretty quickly. That's the breakdown line.
Yeah. So now we're below yesterday's low. We're below this pre-market low. So definitely getting a bit of a bleed here. So if we take a look, just horizontal support resistance like 290 or 593 might be an interesting price. That's the only next one. And we are now back just into this range. So.
Stopped out there in Joby, guys. It came back to the 790s, followed the market, was looking good. It just seems like all the momentum names are dying out today with the market move pullback there. So just be careful out there. All momentum names, at least that I'm seeing, dying out. They're not holding. Maybe penny stocks, but at least bigger momentum names really getting to the downside there. HIMS also coming back. And even Amazon that was looking great, now looking not so bueno. So we'll see what happens out there as things are pulling back. They're right on that trend line breakdown for the SPY. We'll see if we start to really break down here. Will we start to cut down on the daily and actually break this V pattern? I've been waiting to see what happens. I think this is the point where they either can take it towards like 610s and SPY's going to go ripping, or they're just going to break it towards like 580s. So we'll see what happens here. And this could just be kind of the way that they keep it off this line or keep it close to the line until the jobs report tomorrow, which would not make me feel positive, at least in the market. I want to see it rip beforehand, get to the 600 today, already get towards 610, and then they can just use that as the pullback to add on. But we'll see what happens here. Not looking good on the market today.
Yeah, and just the way I look at it and the way, just my experience with a lot of the hedge funds is, right, they take the days before large numbers to come up with plans and scenarios, right? So, everyone knows what the expected number of the jobs report is, right? Everybody, we know it. Everyone who exists can find it super easily. So what they do is they start scenario planning, right? If the jobs report comes in at this much above estimate, this is our plan. If it comes in this much below estimate, this is our plan. If it comes in this band, we're going to do this. And they spend the day before really like locked in boardrooms and just scenario planning. So when I saw that, I'm like, this is why these markets get really, really choppy right before these events, because you have all of the big guys on the street not at their desk staring at charts, but they're planning. They're saying, okay, if this, same thing with very large earnings report, why you don't get too much of a move before a significant earnings event for a company, because they're sitting there and they're planning. If this comes out, we'll do this. And if this, then they give those to the nerds who go program those in their bots, right? So yeah, you're seeing a little bit of bounce here, and that's just because, right, we are in that choppy market. So we're going to bounce. So let's see if we get back above this line. Again, this was the area we drew out earlier, that 595.5 that I've been talking about seemingly forever. We'll see if one of those things happens. But yeah, so Hood broke down as well, and it triggered perfectly, but I didn't take it. And the reason for that is it was not it was a negative risk reward play for the setup. So, right, I have the kind of bot set up that it will take anything up to a 1-to-1, and this would have been a 0.4-to-1, right? So it was right about the direction, but it did this rip first. So I got, break even. I think it's a small loss net on that one. That's just the nature of it, right? You continue to take your setup and go from there. So APLD and Google are the two that I have on. Google is down a bit. I think if we get another 2-minute close above VWAP, I'll probably kill this one for a very small loss because it's just not going anymore. And we are sitting at about a 1-to-1 now. And um, yeah, APLD, I've taken like 2/3 of this off the table. So we'll see. So still stocking some of these. If now that we've gotten the flush, if the market is going to be choppy, that means what is next is a bounce. So this is where I'm going to start stocking potential longs. So Tesla, for example, is one. This MCTR, if this thing ever gets going, another one that I'm watching. But a lot of
That was a nice short.
junk ones, yeah, right. Both of these, right? If you just popped them right through the pre-market lows, but you would have had to know that the market was going to do this first. So came back up, retested that 550 from 595.50 from the upside, and then just reversed there. So no sign yet of any sort of sustained bounce to play
Tesla
off
getting
of.
flushed today, another level. So definitely Tesla getting hit harder. Elon, stop talking politics.
EXY. Yeah. Yeah, the dollar is still falling. We have TLT, and we got to watch this one. Now it's finally come off the level that Trump flinched. So we may start to see Trump messing up the market again. Because again, we've been talking about this forever. As soon as we get down into the 84s or so on TLT, that's automatically when magical news comes out that things are bullish for everything, right? We know his uncle point. So
Stock breaking out today. Xena going sideways on the 9 EMA here, looking to see if it's going to take another leg or is it going to take a pullback. It's at least it's going sideways here. Software infrastructure name Xena.
and we're getting platinum starting to break out here a little bit. So I am long
Platinum.
a bunch of different platinum ETFs after yesterday. That's where I got them on this little break. So if we finally break the zone, I think we talked about this yesterday, right? Commodities do this absolutely nothing to absolutely everything. And it looks like with platinum, that's what's happening a little bit here. So
See if we can come back on the day. Not seeing much out there to get after.
Yeah, well, we need to see, right? So the market flushed, so it's hard to chase anything short, and there's nothing really bucking the trend too hard that I can see. So there, so yeah, so these are the two that I got in is PPLT, which is just the platinum physical ETF, and PLTM. And again, both these were just from algos I had, so I bought both these yesterday at $10 for this one and
QBTS getting really destroyed today,
95,
guys. That
99.
one we talked about yesterday.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just the whole rare earth thing is going to be interesting to see if this, which is hilarious because rare earths aren't really that rare. Bitcoin just completely gave up the ghost there. We talked about that, earlier, that I was worried that this exact thing would happen. I shouldn't even have mentioned it. I feel like this is my fault. I jinxed it, but
It's all your fault, man.
we were up to 106, and now we're back down to 104. So looked like potentially we were going to have a little bit of move in Bitcoin, but that pulled back just a little bit. So
AMD pulling back there might get me out today, guys. That's coming back down. Got up to about 5%, but not enough for me to take my profits. But it is on the way back down. It's at 592. I'm at 585 on AMDL, so we'll see what happens with that. And then E still not recovering back to the 30. That's a little bit of a sign of concern with the Qs continuing to leak, and E trying to hang in there, just keeping an eye on it. SPY, though, might just really collapse here. VIX looking like it's propping up. Might have to take the VIX to at least hedge some here. Yeah, I'm going to go with a little bit of the VIX. It's already spiking. I hate when it does that. Literally, as soon as I turned to it, it was already spiking there. Ah, damn it.
yeah, we're rolling over here on the SPY, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of choppiness around these lows continue for a while. Then maybe in the afternoon we get a bit of a lift. We're not expecting too much, right? You're not going to take your bet today. You're not in a rush if you're the big guy, right? If you're the big guy, you're waiting till tomorrow, and then you've got all your scenarios done out, right? We know that non-farm payrolls is going to be significantly less than the prior. They know that, so they're looking at this 130K number, and then they're saying, okay, if it comes in at 100 or below, do this. If it comes in at 150 or above, do this. If it comes in at, right, and they'll have all these scenarios programmed into a system somewhere, and then a button will get hit, and away we go. So until then, I think there's going to be a lot of these retail type moves, which are generally more spiky, right? Institutions buy dips and sell rips in trend directions. Retail will short into things and then buy into rallies. So
VIX spiking there, guys. My slight hesitation is costing me here, guys. I should have been in already at 52.10s, but it's like 10 cents away, and I'm just like waiting, and it just keeps going. So it's one of those where it's getting away from me.
Not on the Qs, so a
It's
little bit relative strength there.
I shouldn't have hesitated there. Should have took the VIX there.
So Google, I am very not impressed with. I'm about flat on the trade, but with what we're seeing in the market, I would hope this thing would have paid by now. So this is a very, very short leash, right? 1 2-minute close now. Over VWAP, I am done with the position. Should have worked, didn't work. And then APLD, same kind of thing, right? Should be selling off the market. It's not selling off the market, so not doing too well there. So both of these things are short leash. Talk about this all the time. Relative strength, relative weakness. My stocks that I'm short are not going down, even though the Qs and the SPY are going down. So that's when you kind of really tighten up the leash there and say these are relatively weak. So the hunt would be to go in and say, okay, well, what's strong? You could just do that with a simple heat map and just look at what's up today. Change one day, right? So you see Google, right, which is what I'm trying to short, is up where the rest of the market is down a little bit today. Nothing crazy. Just taking a look here. SPY down 0.3, Q's down 0.2, IWM down over 0.5% because poor small caps. They never get it going. Those poor guys.
All right, we'll see what happens. We're right on the trend line here. I'm trying to respect it and wait versus trading it there, but it's sitting right on that breakdown spot there for the SPY. This could be where they could pick it up, but let's see what happens here. I'm just trying to wait off of that line. We're just sitting right on it. We break 594 hard. I'll start looking to try to get some shorts out there. Big support here. We'll see if it's holding or not.
Yeah.
You can see the hourly candle is broken the support at least.
SPY bounced a little bit. Right. You need to see the Qs and really relatively strong here on the Qs. So that's if you're looking for strength, that's the place.
There's the bounce there a little bit. Now, can it hold?
IRBT. You. Oh, this one. This was one of those that was a meme stock long ago.
Amazon tried to buy it. They should have let Amazon buy it. I don't know why.
Oh, yes. It was so weird. It's like, yeah, it's
There's no reason why they. I don't understand it.
It's a robot vacuum cleaner company. Like it's not gonna make Amazon this all powerful corporation. They have like the NSA's data,
You know
but
that
they can't.
iRobot AI, bro. That is just life changing.
It's like, yeah, you can own the largest like supply chain network ever, and you can own all of the U.S. data that is
All
hosted
right,
on your
starting to see the
servers.
SPY coming back here. Can it actually hold here?
But you cannot own a robot vacuum cleaner company for reasons that make no sense. But yeah, so we're digging in here a little bit. Again, let's see if that holds. 595.5. That's my number. If we can get above that, I feel a little bit better. Just like I was thinking. I'm not thinking it's a very bearish day. I'm not thinking this is a very bullish day.
I think it's an interesting setup on Pony. If you like shorts right now.
PONY.
Interesting setup here. VWAP or 9 EMA right above it. It's just slightly above VWAP. It did a spike down to 1220. It's about 40 cents away. Risk is about 20 cents. It's like a 2-to-1 look. This thing's been dropping fast though already. So it might be a little extended on the lower end of the Bollinger Band, but it dropped fast, man.
Yeah, my system's looking the other way on this one.
Yeah, it could. I mean, it was a wick down, right? If it recovers VWAP, it could do the VWAP move to the upside, right? So I think it's more on the market right now. The market's just, the thing is though, the SPY's bounce there was very limited, very limited.
Yeah, it feels weak. Feels a little anemic, this bounce. I think you got a pretty obvious trend line here you could draw. Again, I don't like trend lines that much.
I'm taking some VIX here, guys. I'm at least going to try it.
And yeah, I'm more of a horizontal support resistance, less of a diagonal support resistance guy, but you could do a little trend line here and just say we're below that trend line. Probably good to stay a little bit on the cautious side of things.
Taking a shot here on the VXX long. Go against some of my swings here, try to make some money on the day trade.
Good way to do it too. I know a lot of people who will systematically trade their swing trades and then discretionally trade either inverse ETFs, which is something I do as well, or VIX, which is kind of essentially the same thing. And their idea is they've got these long systems that they've proven that work over time. And if they can smooth out those returns by making a little bit of money on big spikes and things like that, then it really, really ups your returns in the long run. It's a massive.
Here comes a SPY for the break here. I'm going to go for the win here in a second here on the VIX. I just want to see it start going to the 5220s.
Boring day. Boring day. For me, anyway. I got these 3 or 4 trades, and look at these. Look at Google. Just nothing. Nothing here. APLD, same thing. But APLD, again, I took a lot of that position off. Right, Tesla, not moving anymore. MCTR, this one I'm probably just going to remove from the list. Just probably flooding all the way to 0 here. And Bitcoin, look at that 2-minute chart, just top to bottom in a very short period of time. That's a 2% downtick on Bitcoin.
No bueno. That's a key reversal.
Yeah, and
it's a key reversal right there.
Man, it looked very exciting for 1 minute there. It looked like, oh, maybe when we were trading up in this area, maybe we were going to break this little base to the upside and then maybe challenge back at highs, but they pulled the rug.
SPY trying. It's trying here off the line, guys. Can it come back? This is where I think you have a bunch of traders that are just continuing to watch their trend trades, trying to stick with them on these down days. And then that's I think what we're seeing a lot of, right? And so it's kind of hard to make new positions because essentially you're trading the chop at the top.
Right. Well, this is what, like, I think Tack put it perfectly. Between yesterday and today, we have done absolutely nothing, right? So this is yesterday's open at 590, 596 and a half. And then yesterday's close, right, it was 596. We're basically at, right? So it's 50 cents move in the last 2 days. And the best way, this is why, again, always look at the daily chart and just zoom in here. This is the close on Tuesday. And then here's where we are now. So it's definitely a waiting kind of function, right? It was, yeah. So it's don't get too excited on the down moves. Don't get too excited on the up moves. Tomorrow is, I think, really when you strap in, lock in. I think, as the kids are saying nowadays.
150 on CoreWeave wouldn't be a bad spot to get short again. If I could get it above, wouldn't mind it. And then E trying to make a comeback, guys.
CoreWeaves.
Yeah, man, I should have shorted that shit. I don't know why I didn't swing short it. Oh, man. I was fighting myself. I was trying to do it yesterday at the close, but I was, a little busy with the boys, and I hate taking quick assessments. So it was just one of those where I was like, I can't be on the desk, so I'm gonna just not do it. But man, it would have paid out for sure.
Well, yeah, that's it's one of those things that in the net you don't want to take, right, trades like that you're just seeing right off the bat. So
yeah, it's just hard. It's a part of what I have to deal with, not being able to get on the desk later. It happens to me where I have to cut some positions sometimes where I'm just like, I don't want to cut this, but I gotta cut it, but I can't stick around. It's just a part of the game, right? Like all you guys out there that probably have other jobs or things that you got to do and focus on. So it's a part of it, right?
Robots.
It's the only way.
Robots.
The only way. AMD, let's see if we start to get the bounce. It's starting to bounce towards the 117, but this has been up there closer towards 121 breakout. So I really need AMD to start to hold. NNE giving me an opportunity here. It's trying to recover 30. It's trying. We'll see if it recovers. And then the SPY is kind of still just hanging in there, not really doing much. It did go up, but until it breaks at least like the 50 EMA on the 1 minute, I'm not really thinking this is moving up. This is just moving sideways since pretty much, I would say 951. You can't get above that 951 candle. You're just kind of like sideways since 950 here. So we got to see what happens out of this sideways.
Yes, that's 95, 50 for me. That's the number. That's the number I've been yelling about for weeks now. And you can see if you just go back to the 2-minute chart over the last few days, it's very important. We got to retake that. And we got VWAP right ahead. So got to get over that. We got to get over VWAP and figure it out. I am a dentist. Robots. Telling you, I'll get
Robots.
you. I'll get you all. Just
The robots.
slowly. I've been sent here to turn you all into systematic traders. Slowly over.
Scotty, you're a dentist. All right, you're gonna have to deal with Michael today. He was trading Molinator, so
Hey,
you take it.
I'm in. I'm
You sit
out.
him down in your chair today, Scotty.
What happened since then? Oh, pretty much nothing.
Don't look at it.
In, out, back down, not taken. I took it off my list. It's.
She's dead to you now.
I'm just shocked. It's still like that. This can exist, and there's people out there that are still trading it and are investing in it, and B, that you're just not like, who's going to jail? Someone has to go to jail off of this. You would think.
You would think. You would think. All right, Spy trying to do the breakdown here. Do I go for it? I'm going to take the shot here. It really is a little risky. I'll take the shot there. Let's see if we do get the breakdown or not. Let's go for it.
Looking at.
What are you going to do, Spy? You're right on the trend line, man. You're hanging out there. Just wants to hang out. Said, I'm going to come over here and just chill. 15-minute candle's big. Watch to see if this candle goes red on the SPY, because it would be the opposite of the advancing shoulders pattern, right? The advancing shoulders pattern, 3 15-minute candles, all kind of opening and closing at their kind of highs. It's the opposite. You're seeing them open at the closing of the low and kind of continuing that expansion away. So the 15-minute candle's looking pretty bad there on the SPY, unless this could be a green candle and a move back through 596. So always leaves room for that, right? But you want to be watching those bigger time frame candles to be telling you a little bit more about what you're seeing, not just the short-term mix, right? I used to do this. I don't do this as much, and I need to maybe do it because I just don't have the screen real estate anymore, even though I need more screens. I know Michael's going to be like, hell no. But
I just got the one.
But for me, it's more about kind of like I like having like a 15-minute chart, an hourly chart, and a daily chart. I'm really looking at that, kind of developing. But I know that you keep a lot of the daily chart next to it, and that's kind of the way that you go about it.
Yeah, well, so this is what I show the screen, or the stream, but on the other side of what you guys don't see is I've kind of just set up like this, right? Where, I've got a 2-minute, and I actually have them, right? Because someday I'm just gonna say screw everyone. I'm a black bar guy from now on. But this is kind of the this is mostly so when I change symbol, all of these changes, right? So I've got one of those on this part of the screen, just so I can keep it all, because yes, I think it's one of those you're looking for, and while the market's not moving, what I use them for is, right, the 15-minute I would generally want to keep like 5 days on, right? This is the last 5 days of action. I want to keep that on like a 15-minute chart or a 30-minute chart. That just kind of shows me here's what's happening over the last couple days of action. Support resistance zone. 2-minute chart is for entry, right? Daily chart is just, is there anything in our way one way or the other? And then weekly chart for trend, right? So trend is obviously up on the SPY, and trying to break out of this little base in the weekly chart, and then a daily chart here, 30-minute and 2-minute, right? I have all this kind of lined up, and right, and it's one of those, because a robot enters all my trades, I don't need all this, but it's just when I'm going through charts, it's just easier to go and kind of look overall and see where things are kind of laying out, right? So 5 days, right? And then this is a 1 day. And you could say, or you could even just do it like this with these buttons down here and say, okay, well, this will be, 6 months or year to date or whatever. And then this could be, I don't know, all. right? So you get a nice wide view of the market. But I just think this is a lot for you guys. So I just show just this on the 2-minute, and then I just switch back and forth to daily chart and then back to the 2-minute. And I have to go to candles because you nerds like candles as opposed to. But yeah, this is what I look at when no one's watching. There's all these emotional studies and everything done about colored candles, right? People will look at a
Yes,
red candle and be more likely to sell, and a green candle be more
100%.
likely to buy. And there's
I mean,
there's
we
no
all
predictive
played
power, right?
we all played red light, green light, right? When you like play in like schoolyard. Like, well, it works in trading too.
Right? So yeah, a lot of times now if you want to go real, and then at night, this is what my charts look like. The
Green,
black, the
baby.
black and green, that's
The
real,
green
real
on the
old
screen,
school
baby.
for someone who's old enough to remember when
Yeah, man.
computers just had green text on a black background, and that was all computers were.
All right, guys. Big outlook here right now. We're going to see what's happened, and we're going to see what's going to work out. I feel like in the next 2 or 3 minutes here. So let's see what happens here. 10:15. Spies trying to recover 595. So just keep an
Yeah.
eye out here. I think we're going to get a speed up in the next at least the next 15 minutes. If you looked at that 15-minute candle, it gave you a kind of harmy looking candle right by the trend line. So it gives room also for a wick there and a recovery. So I'm going to really be watching what happens off of this. And the SPY, really big watch here. Will it break down? Will it go back to 593.80s?
Yeah. Like it's really hard to, and this is again, you notice times that me and Mitch are locked in and times that me and Mitch are more shooting the shit. And it's because this is not, in my opinion, not the time to make bets, right? Because it's one of those either you make your bet, you set a wide stop, you realize that it could tick up a little bit below this or down a little bit above
Yeah.
this, and you're just kind of taking and you're just walking away. But I guess better way to word it is this not the time to actively like super trade, right? You kind of want to sit back a little bit and let the market tell you what the market's going to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Let the market tell you here. We'll see what happens here, guys. Still playing the VIX here, but just watching to see if it can actually make the move above the 52 now. I think at this point, I'm watching to see if it holds the 52. It's gone up and below the 90 MA plenty of times, made the rule of three. This is the last support it should hold, 51.90s. Should break out here above the 52.10s. Let's see what happens if it breaks out above that. Makes the move. The SPY still really small candle. It might go red here now. There he goes, going red a little bit there. I'm going to take the step up and go for it if it breaks the 52.10s on the VXX.
Don't you say silver's getting toppy, man. I own a bunch of silver. Don't do that to me. Let's see. A little doji action.
SPY trying it here.
You are not
Do it,
alone
though.
on the confused. I think everyone's a little confused in the market direction right now. Again, I think it's just we have a huge like I spoke to a bunch of people who are economists and trying to like, okay, so what are you guys looking for to see, right, if it's a healthy market or not? And the buddy of mine I was drinking with, and he just said, listen, the only thing that matters is jobs. The last bear market and the inflationary period taught us that Americans will buy shit even if the price of that thing is skyrocketing, as long as they have jobs. So this is why everyone's nailed in on this jobs report, because it will,
We also
we
get
know,
unemployment, right? We get jobs and unemployment. So
yeah, and it's
that's a big reason too, right?
two sides of the coin. And
Yeah,
yeah, he's basically
two
saying,
data points.
like, we know there's going to be a slowdown. Everyone's expecting it. That's not the big deal. It's the question is, right, do they miss the numbers dramatically? And then if so, how dramatically? And then there's trades to be taken from that, right?
It's not wanting to do it. SPY's holding here.
Just nothing. right?
Is holding here. See, another thing that you can see on Michael's charts, it's important. Look how the volume slowed down too.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
volume slowing down. Why? Because the algos aren't working.
They're turn them off, wait for tomorrow, right? You know,
They're on the
they're
slow down right now.
they're
At least.
tuning them up right now, and they're saying if job number comes out, I think last time was 170, and now we're expecting 130. So again, it's not rocket science. It's if number less than 130, short things. If number greater 130, buy things, and then there's a range of that, right? Like if you see a sub 100 print, it's short a lot. If you see a better than 150 print, buy a lot. Um, they're not placing bets going into these. Why would they? They have
Oof, Ethereum getting
insanely
washed.
fast computers that are co-located with the servers of in New Jersey. So,
In the Jersey.
so
What
long
up,
some Tesla.
Eldon?
I just
Eldon, I
heard.
got your AMD, man. I got AMD out on the swing.
I heard the British man yell at me. So I
The
got some
British
Tesla
man.
here. That's the
Yeah, SPY spiking a little bit.
that's the trade on Tesla right there. I like this as a swing trade too. If we can recover back kind of into this zone today, it'd have to be today and pretty quickly. But
All right, guys. At this point, set my stop at 51.88 on the VIX. So at least I know what I'm going to lose. I'll lose another 60 if I do lose. And we'll see what happens here. SPY starting to come back to the 595. I talked about how that's a key level right there. You're going right back to it. The key is, can it get above the 595 here? Tick up, tick right back down. So we'll see what happens here.
yeah, so we've got this. And again, this is going to be one of those. At 10:30 is when I stop entering orders for this system. But I've noticed these ones that trigger a little bit later with these wider stops. I could be in this thing all day, right? So these are one of those I just kind of walk away from the screen. I've got a within Interactive Brokers, they have a time stop as well that gets placed, which just says
Yeah.
same thing that will happen to trade the pool. Right, 5 minutes before the close, get me out. Unless this target's reached, this target's reached. So what I usually do is I sit down maybe 15 minutes before the close. And sometimes, if I like it from swing, I'll just cancel that time stop order and just say, okay, well, no, I want to hold this one. But for that to
There's
happen, we need to be
595.
well above this price here. So
There's 595 there for the SPY. Chop coming back in, SPY coming back up a little bit off of the trend line there. So you might get a move to the VWAP, and then it could come right back. But at the end of the day, you're getting some more choppy action. Definitely one of those days where it might make sense just to get the hell out of here. But that's just how it goes. We will stick around, so I'll probably still trade. But it really is kind of one of those markets where it's kind of dead.
yeah,
Scotty, China small caps going crazy so far this month. They always go crazy, man. They get the pumps and dumps all the time.
you've got
It's China.
two crazy words there, right? You got China and small cap. So
Yeah,
that's
so it'll be crazy regardless, right?
but no, the sticking around thing, right? I wanted to comment on that's important because we don't. This could all change in a minute. We have no idea, right? There could be a tweet, there could be something. So for the time frame that you are allocating to trade, which I never think should be the whole day. I think it should be the open or the close or the open and the close with a couple hours off in the middle. But for that time frame, right? Stay here, stay locked in, keep staring at the charts, even if you're not trading, because who knows, right? So we're up now through that 595 and a half that we were talking about for the last 6 months, it seems, and through VWAP. So the question is, do we hold here? If we do, maybe we move back to highs, and then we've done the chop out this side, and maybe today looks a lot like this. Remember, looked like the world was coming to an end right here. We stopped at the 2-day VWAP to the tick, and we bounce back to highs, and then we bounce back to lows, and then we bounce back to highs, and then we bounce back to lows. So could be more of the same, that kind of action. So maybe we grind our way back to highs and then fail there.
Grail, guys, finally breaking through the 41, guys. I'm a little annoyed I'm not in this swing still, but it just took a long time to get to this 41. I'm going to buy it here, but at the same time, Not going to go too crazy with the sizing. I still just want a piece of it. And then we'll see what happens with it. But taking it on the swing, Grail, long on Grail, big 41 look that it's been looking for, starting to get it today. And I think this is the attempt to maybe get to 45. So I'll take it here. Still chasing a little bit, should be closer to 40. So I could risk on the 38s, but I'll take it here and risk on the 39. And we'll see if it really just starts going. Rail.
Yeah. Nice looking, more nuclear. That's a nuclear thing, isn't it?
AI health.
Uh,
Cancer.
that and Tempest. Yeah, a lot of interesting, like, again, I think the health side of things for AI is
It's
the
big.
most interesting,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's cool that you can cheat on your homework and all that, but the ability to cure diseases way faster because it can just think and read everything that we know about a disease so quick. That to me is like that's world changing stuff, right?
Mhm.
That's like reverse aging, like all kinds of things that certainly could happen. The I was reading about one drug that they're in almost phase 3 trials of that is a myostatin inhibitor. Well, more people with details, but basically grow muscle by doing absolutely nothing. You just
Yeah.
you take your Ozempic, you lose weight. You take this, you get jacked. And the monkey
Steroids.
trial, well, it's steroids without any of the side effects of steroids. So it's steroids. You still have to
Good
exercise too.
steroids, bro. Come on.
So
Palantir coming back. We talked about it could have a good move today. It's holding that 130 move. Now starting to hold above VWAP. Just calling it out there for those Palantir lovers.
this daily chart looks amazing on Palantir. I
Yeah.
love the daily chart.
Yeah,
I
a
think
really good pullback yesterday. Wash out some of the bulls, get them
and
rehyped
held that.
back through the 130.
Yeah, just basing right at all-time highs after making all-time highs on that big green candle. It's just been consolidating sideways for 4 or 5 days. It's just the exact price action you want to see, not breaking back into its pre-market range, but holding really well. So yeah, the daily chart on this one I love, but I'm talking my book. So
Yeah.
FYI, I am long. I always like to say when I'm talking my book, take with it what you may.
Yeah, we'll see what happens out there. Still in NNE on the swing. AMD finally starting to come back a little bit there. So we'll look for some of the trades to actually start working back. We did get some names to get back above VWAP, so you could look at some of those types of setups. The market has been coming back since that turn there. We'll see if it can just continue lifting. There was this pony play earlier that I was watching, so I'm looking at that. You see how it's holding the 15-minute bottom there. It's holding pretty well on that move. GEV kind of recovering. CEG was red, red, red. Now starting to keep going red. So that's one that has pulled back significantly from their catalyst, right? So just keep an eye out on that one. The surprising one that filled the gap that is doing well today, ANF. So this one I was watching as it's filled the gap completely and it's kind of going sideways there. I'm wondering if it can do another little push just for the gap fill and then kind of a push back. The earnings were really good. It was one of the best in apparel, but still not making the big move there. Amazon getting back there. So that's one to keep an eye out, of course. We know that we've been keeping an eye out on that. That's back above VWAP, held to 209, 208 support. Now it's trying to make its way back to that rip where it went to 211.40s. Not a bad one to keep an eye out on Amazon. SPY trying to come back there. It's at the VWAP. Will it reject VWAP here, or will it just keep going back towards the top end of the range, which could be towards 599, 598? We'll see what happens.
You think of VLO? Question in the chat.
VLO.
Range
Okay,
bound.
so Valero, talking oil. You got to look for the long-term trend line break. That's what I would just look for. The monthlies is still declining. You need to see that monthly trend change. At least if I'm going long it. The only thing for me this is it keeps shorting, right? So it goes down, gets shorted here. Goes down, gets shorted. Goes down, gets shorted, right? Until it breaks that trend, something needs to change for this Valero to be a name that I'd watch. A move back towards, let's say, 140 and starting to change that trend, then I'd start taking a look at it. But for right now, I think it's a little early. And then what are you seeing in OPEC, right? What you want to be seeing is supply coming down, and OPEC is increasing supply at a time when oil is actually going down. So to me, it shows that these aren't the sexy plays out there.
No, and not only that, it has been a long time when it comes to oil, right? It's been huge, right? It's just it's hasn't moved in not just days or weeks. It's been like years since we've had that kind of energy really be interesting. I think if you like energy, there's kind of cooler or more dramatic places to go when it comes to like nuclear and all these things. So
Watching Clean Spark on the comeback here.
later,
It
bud.
would be a recovery of VWAP and then coming back up there. So not a bad looking stock there. I'm looking at MSTX as it's coming back there too. So those are two names that I'm watching. I might swing one and day trade the other.
So trade idea. I love how Don here,
Eldon,
man.
that's my boy.
I just love how he just writes it all out. So it's like not
Yeah.
it's not just
So
I like this stock. It's like this is
yeah,
how a professional trader thinks, right? He's
yeah,
got
I
his
love it. I
plan,
love it.
he's got, you know,
We
so entry.
appreciate comments like this for sure,
Yeah.
100%. So you guys always you guys can throw up trade ideas. We'll take a look, right?
Entry
We can't tell you
75,
whether to hold or
support
not, but that's what we do. We're traders,
50. Yeah.
you know.
Stop loss 325. Yeah, that makes sense. That might be a little wide for a stop loss, but target 535. Ooh-wee. Yeah, so I see what you're doing. Way up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice
Um,
looking trade. That's
I think Eldon likes the bigger like looking for these bigger moves that I like to look
yep.
for too. The percentages on accuracy will probably be a little lower.
Yes.
But
But
the pressure that you feel when you take these trades a lot because the sizing is small and you're looking for big moves,
yep.
the pressure goes down so much so
Oh
that you
yeah.
can focus on the charts, right? So you got to know what style of trader you are. For certain traders, that makes sense. If you're this trader that feels pressure all the time, maybe looking for wider moves is the move because it takes the pressure down, right? Like if you're a trader that feels pressure all the time, scalping is probably not going to be the strategy for you because you can't handle the high pressured situations, right?
Mhm.
And so I think that's important. The speed of the trade is very important to understand and your personality.
Well, and it's like you mentioned, right? With you know, people who have jobs and stuff while they're trading. That
Yeah.
kind of trade is perfect for that because you could
Yeah.
plan all that out before the market opens. You could set up all the orders. You could do all of that and then go. Go do whatever it is that, you know, feeds your family and makes you money. And then if, because, you know, he's got an entry target a little bit or a little bit below or 370, so a little bit above us here. So you put out a stop limit. And this was what my whole kind of talk on Discord was about. Then you wrap that in OCO order, which just means one cancels other. So you wrap that in something that has a stop loss and a profit target. Go, right? If that's enough, though these trades are enough to sustain you, well, go live your life. If not, go to a job and make more money to put into your swing account. Uh, it's This is
All right,
the
guys.
first
Read
step to
long.
systemation right there.
Last trade of the day, guys. Last trade of the day. I'm going to take one last shot here on the VIX. I'm going for it there just based on the pattern. I'll show you the pattern on the bar chart. It really makes sense on the bar chart. We got the liquidity move just recently, and that could be the move that really gets things going. So this liquidity move right here, right? So this right here, when it did this kind of flush and recover is really good looks. Now, what I don't need to see is that trend line break, right? So this trend line, you see how it went right to it at that 52.02? So now we need to see it get back to this level, right? 52.35 in like kind of one or two candles. I want it to happen. These are 5-minute candles. So of course there'd be like 5 1-minute candles, but looking for the real takeoff now. We'll see what happens. I'll take the risk right off of this low, and then we'll take one more trade and see what happens on the day. And at the end of the day, the SPY did come back up, but it was very short lived. Rejected the 200 and came down fast with bigger bars on the downside. So seeing that the SPY is increasing the volatility on the downside, tells me a little bit more that I could take a shot here. I'll show you the 1 minutes. You see how you stair stepped back, but elevator down. So we're going to look for another elevator move down, not stair step down. It shouldn't be stair stepping. It should be big bars showing me that it really wants to break down big. We'll see what happens here. SPY, will you just come down to 594.20?
Yeah, like look at that intraday action. Just chop and slop mess.
Yeah, chop and slop mess. Rejection of the 9999. Finally, a recovery here. We've had all these lows in this area. If we get back into this area, though, at least for me, it makes sense to at least take a shot there that it could break it. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of volume that could have came in here. So I think that you did see some buying step up there. Now they're going to get tested here in a second. Let's see what happens. All right, what is it being talked about in the chat? Catching up with some of the chat comments out there. How's CoreWeave, good old CoreWeave doing now? Did it reject the 50, the 150? Let's take a look here. Ooh, the 150. It did get above it and went to 152, but that was kind of the level I was looking for it to recover and then get flushed on again. It looks pretty bearish to me. This would be kind of more of a flag, bear flag, right? So you can see that kind of trend line here, trend line approach. Let's see if
SPY
this
little flush there.
really kind of comes down there. CoreWeave would have been the short today, man. That's going to be one that I'll be looking back, and I need to be able to take a shot on these, just smaller size and go for it, right? I was battling on like the sizing aspects of this. It's hard because the truth is that this thing moves easily, you know, $3-5 in what 10-15 minutes. So let alone what you need to kind of risk the return on this is sometimes harder. I'm going to be trying to take more of these style of trades and really putting them out on Twitter ahead of time. It was a great trade setup. I thought at least, especially with the daily candle closing. And then when I was making this decision was yesterday, really close to the close, like at 358, to give it a precise timing. And when I'm in that time, I really need to feel conviction to kind of get swing short on something. And just didn't take it, but it was right at the top end of the range, right? And it started to come down here. And then I was like, then I got to risk on the 66 really quickly. What I was looking for, I was hoping for a gap up and then a drop, right? Like a move where it gapped up to 170 and then dropped. Daily candle, I think it was the signal yesterday of finally taking a shot away. So you've gotten this rip above 1, 2 rips, 3 rips. Sometimes you'll go right back to that 9 EMA. You can still try to pile in for bounce after that, but I think we could go back to that 130.
Yeah, it's one of those when these overextended runs end, you usually get a little bit of a sharp pullback, and that's when people get very excited to buy into them. But you know,
Yeah.
as long as you pick your top right and you're exiting out when those guys are buying in, you're good to go.
Grail trying to hang in there. I don't want to risk too much on this because I can always get out and get back in. So I want to set like a $30 risk probably. Look to see if Grail can just keep going on the day. If it does fade away because the market fades away, don't want to be a part of it. That's for sure. AMD is a tough one, right? Do I just sell it, take the $40 and just keep moving on? Look for a re-entry in AMD. I kind of just have to let the SPY do its thing. There's the SPY, wicks through the trend line right back up. Right back up. It was like, it broke it there. It did break it. I'll show you guys the break, but it went right back up there. Do I have it on there? It's probably on this other board. There it is. Boom. So you see this line right here? We broke it and we came right back through it. It was looking good there. That 594 breakdown, right back through it, right? So it got that wick there. It's right back to the VWAP, coming back to the 596 and coming back fast here. So probably just going to get stopped out in my VIX trade. We'll see what happens on it. It's right on the low here. Get stopped out in a second here.
Chop, came back to the lows. More buyers came in. Probably go back to VWAP. Have more sellers come in. Right. This
The choppy chop. The chop continues. It's we
exactly.
should have just gone to Pollo Tropical and get a choppy chop today, because that's what we're seeing out there.
Start playing
eh,
games or something.
yeah,
Start
yeah.
playing.
The algo's making us overtrade and just spending money, man. Spending money. To put it in perspective, I had a like 7-8 day winning streak, and I've given it back now. So just got to keep battling on the account, guys. I think we were having like really good trend trades, and they just completely have come to an end. So it's kind of hard to jump in that. And then I've been battling, kind of doing both of the accounts here. That's one thing that I definitely think I need to kind of keep working on, how to balance both of the accounts, right? And keep pushing. We'll see what happens. I still think that the SPY is not really constructive today, but at the end of the day, it's just playing games here. And so it could keep playing games until it finally breaks down through that trend line. We'll see what happens.
That's right. It's we're waiting. We know what we're waiting for. We know kind of when it's going to happen and what's going to happen from it. So it's just about waiting with the market. And again, I think it's very important to.
This is why I say if I was trading on my own, I would have been gone probably at 10:30 and gone to enjoy my day. Because I think that this is that type of day where you stick around, you're going to want to trade.
Yeah. Well, and
You're
yeah,
going to want.
and
There's
again,
setups, because there's technical setups, but there's technical setups don't always mean something's going to work, right?
right.
There's tons of technical setups I've seen today. I've taken a couple of them, and they're just not working. Every break of the trend line is going back to support. Every like long is that it's breaking the resistance is coming back to the support. You're not getting the continuation moves right now. So it might make
Yeah.
sense just to trade the range, right? That might make sense, but that's just not up my alley. I don't really trade ranges. I usually trade for breakouts and continuations. So it's kind of hard to trade within this when you're stuck in the range.
Yeah, I've tried to either build range trading systems and things like that. Um I've never been able to make it work. Never been. It's one of those you'll make a little bit of money like 5, 6 times, and then one of the times the range just completely explodes out from under you and you end up giving it all back. So it's just ooh, big pop here in the
Yeah.
SPY.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it to step up to the plate in some stocks.
So yeah,
At least on the
something's
swing side, right? I can't go day trading no more. Strike three, you're out. But that's just my rules. And I gotta abide by them, because then it just becomes like the real washing, right? We can't have that. We can take risk on days, but you gotta have a limit. Set that limit for yourself, guys, and make sure that you're respecting that. Now, the swing side of things, I can take trades because they're all on the long side essentially here. So I can go ahead and start taking some shots. MSTX is one that I'm going to go ahead and try to take here. Oh, look at the jump on MSTX. What the heck happened there, man? That thing gapped up 50 cents. That's frustrating. Why don't I have data on that? That's just a charting error. I have it here, but I don't have it on the other one. I don't have it on my evolution trade.
yeah, that I don't know, that felt a little newsy. I'm on the
Something
streets
happened.
now.
Something happened.
Felt a little ZENA. I don't know, it's gapping up today. It's right in just in the middle of a giant range. It's holding on to its gains well. So overall it looks pretty bullish to me. Oh yes. 1 minute ago, Z and Trump to start new round of talks ASAP. So
Good
that's
Lord.
what that was.
New rounds of talks. When will we actually get some real damn news?
Z tells Trump China implemented Geneva Agreement. I don't know what that does.
I don't know the Geneva Agreement. I don't know all that stuff. That's above our pay grade, right, Michael?
Yeah, and right, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like one of those.
Ethereum coming back though. That's an interesting one to look at. I like MSTX here, but the gap up of 50 cents. Like I wanted to trade it at 37. It's like at 37.50. But we'll see what happens on that. That is coming back.
Z says U.S. should deal with Taiwan cautiously.
Oh, a warning from Chief.
TSM? Is that a TSM play?
That's a TSM down play, more like it, but it's reacting up.
Yeah, but it's one of those. How long has there been China-Taiwan talks? Like, does anyone even care anymore? Like, I remember, I'm an old man.
I
It's
don't
been
understand it
going
though.
on forever.
I don't even understand Taiwan. Like I just don't understand those countries and how they work over there, man. if they were surrounding my island, I would be pretty upset, man.
Well, yeah, that's
Hey,
the whole debate is whose island is it, right? That's the whole shtick.
that's the whole shtick, exactly. Do I add here on Grail? I'm battling myself not to add, but market needs to really move here, and it did move. But then, what did it do right after that?
Yeah, and just right back down into her.
Dude, this is such a chop, man. They're just trying to rip people's heads open. Joby coming back. Got back to 8 and then came right back down. Just seems like today's not the day to be actively trading. I'll just say that. PL, though, man. Why the hell didn't we listen to Steph in the first place? We should have just been trading Planet Labs all morning long.
Look at that trend.
What are we doing with ourselves, Michael?
Mm-hmm.
Look at Black Sky, though. Remember I told you guys that Black Sky is a laggard play off of PL? Look at that one. Boom, baby. That's algo
That's
pickup.
a nice looking daily chart for sure.
That's just algo pickup, man. I see these all the time, man. It's just they know the relationship. The algos know the relationship. So they go and they buy some of whatever PL, right? And then they go and buy also some of Black Sky. And then they're going to make both of the money there. I think this is definitely something to watch there.
IWM doing very well here. Yeah, so I think, again, choppy day today, and then whatever the number comes out at as a surprise, if it is a surprise, I think if it's no surprise, we move higher. I think if it's a surprise, obviously, to more jobs, then we move higher. And then if it's less jobs, we downtick a bit, and then we're back in this range.
All right, guys. I'm going to take a moment here to tell you guys about the competition that we're going to be having here. As you guys see on the top here, we're having the trading competition on the 16th through the 18th. Don't miss it, guys. We're going to be competing together. Yes, I said that right. And yes, we're going to be competing together to outperform the Qs. But the truth is, it's one for all and all for one. The one that trades the best. So if you guys want to win some prizes, you got to lead the team with the victory, of course. But we will, of course, join the team, sign up. You'll be trading with Michael, myself, and everybody else on the team. We're going to be trying to beat the Qs. And I don't think that we will not outperform the Qs. If we don't outperform the Qs, there's something wrong, guys. We got to do this. But the question is, how much are we going to outperform, right? That's what I'm asking. So definitely sign up for the event, guys. Download Trade the Pools trading platform and join the Discord. Hit it, guys. I'm going to throw the link up here right in the chat so that you guys go ahead and click the link and sign up for the competition. But definitely, there it is, guys. There it is in the chat. Hit the link, guys. The event timeline is going to be from the 16th to the 18th, Monday to Wednesdays. Winners will be announced on that Thursday. So stick around, guys, as it's coming up, and we'll see what we can get, what we can do. It didn't want to post it on Facebook. So you guys that are watching us on Facebook, well, you might have to come over to the YouTube side to get that link. Facebook doesn't like links. So we'll see what happens. Excited about the competition. We'll see how it runs. This is the first time we're doing kind of more of that team competition. So definitely check it out. Check out the rules, the credentials, when does the competition start, all that right there. FAQs right on the site. And like always, you guys can always email us for some more questions. Definitely check us out. The one for all. Who's going to win it, guys? I'll tell you one thing. I like the hat with the P on there. That looks cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see what happens with another competition and who's going to win the prize. I know I'll take some shots. I'll take some shots. We'll see how much money we have. Then they're working out the particulars there. We'll see what happens. Black Sky holding on. Can it keep moving?
Mhm. Spy down, ticking just
yeah,
a
the
bit.
SPY went up and then it went right back down. Look at the VIX on the 15, man. Look at the VIX on the 15. This looked like a really nice breakout when it got back towards here, right back down, right? So we just can't get it right now. And the market doesn't want to make a move. And it's definitely doing that today. Just hanging out. Amazon, probably the best looking stock out there. I'm fighting myself to buy it, but I just want to just kind of keep watching this trend. But it's working. Daily chart still looking good there on Amazon. That could help the market and Qs kind of hang on there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look for more of this
I'm noticing
news.
something on the banner there. There's like this little with prize version 1 text. Sorry about that, guys. We'll get that fixed up there. But yeah, with prize. Don't miss the prizes.
Trump will inform media soon about soon to be meeting.
Here's another swing trade idea I'm going to have, guys. It's Joby. I can't go for the day trade because I'm already on a strike 3, but I can open up a swing here. I don't mind it, especially if the market can go up here. It's just going to be more a matter if it really gets going here. What I like is the daily chart on Joby. If you look at the daily chart, it's right there on the 9 EMA pullback. It could get the move right back to 9, right? That's kind of the look there. Trade overall, nice looking chart. Kind of like a cup and handle pattern, if you want to call it that. I hate calling cup and handle sometimes because sometimes it looks like a V bottom. It looks like a V and handle versus a cup and handle. And you want to see cup and handle
weird shape cup.
Yeah, be more gradual. That's the word, right? Like slowly doing the U and then getting some ramp up near the handles, right? So we'll see what happens there on Joby if it wants to get back above 8 and make a move, right? So that's kind of be the move. It's back above 8 and it could squeeze to like 850, maybe potentially running to 9.
I just went through a whole bunch of ETFs and they all on the daily chart are dojis right now, right? So open, close right near open, right? Spinning tops if you want to get
danger candles, right? Like pay attention to me candles. So we'll see what happens.
Hood reverse nice. So Hood is holding up, and it's very interesting. Hood holding up with the market not moving, and look at that.
This is buy the rumor, sell the news all over it, man. A little part of me is like looking to maybe sell the rip tomorrow on Hood. If it rips higher again, I'll be looking to probably short that tomorrow.
When is the announcements for the rebalance? Is that tomorrow?
I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow. Let me take a look.
Because it's one of those you kind of got two scenarios. They get added
Friday.
Oh, Friday.
After the stock market close, right?
So they get added to the S&P 500. That's probably a sell the news event. Or they don't get added to the S&P 500, and then it's definitely a sell the news event, right?
So let's go through the list here before we close up today, because I think this is a good list for you traders to have, right? So the list is Hood, right, at the top of the list, I would say. Then App 11. You can see why it's doing well today, and it did get hit hard in the pre-market. Right back up. Why did it get bought up? Because of this buy the rumor. The news was actually negative on the downside. It's a negative catalyst. There's going to be plenty of people saying, why the hell is that going up? It was a negative news catalyst. You got to know the environment around the stock also. They're buying it up because of that. Next one up, Carvana. I think this one's going to get the ad. Personally, I think it's going to be Hood and Carvana as one of the names that I'll be looking for to get it. Carvana, just complete takeoff, man. I don't know why I didn't buy this thing at 200. It's like I'm still kicking myself because there's one person that's been banging their table on used cars. It's definitely been me. I don't think I've heard anybody else mention used cars for 2025. And I'm just not making the money in the trade, but the trade's there to be made. Carvana is just taking off there. That's for sure. I think one of the big things is I tried to look for like KMX and the other ones to kind of take off, and Auto Nation, and that's probably one that maybe I can keep watch here as it starts to approach the highs, but they're just not moving as much as like kind of Carvana, right? That has the momentum, can really kind of lift, and you could see that's a takeoff there. So other than Carvana, you got this one, this Aris Management. I don't think it would be this one, but I'll just bring it up, right? This ARES. I don't even know what the hell it does in the financial services, but
Oh, that's I think that's like a private equity fund.
yeah, it might be. It could be. I had to do a little more research, but that's that one. There's VEEV, Viva Systems. This one might be able to get it. So the chart's looking good. Just had a nice recent gap up. So I'll just keep an eye on it. But definitely hot here. And health information services. That looks to me like AI related. I don't know too much about Viva Systems. Then I'll keep going. You got Flutter Entertainment. This is, I think, FanDuel, if I'm not to be mistaken. FanDuel. So this is not a bad one to maybe do it, but it's a little bit more like I would consider this one more really symmetrical in the way it's moving. It's not like a DraftKings. It doesn't have that crazy reaction like a DraftKings. So we'll see what happens. This is not a bad one. Flutter Entertainment. It's one to look at. LNG is another option. I think LNG could definitely get the ad there. It kind of makes sense. And it's also like a really good investment style stock. This thing's been an absolute winner. And the pullback's very limited. That's what you want to see. This looks like to me a nice investment stock to be adding to the S&P 500. And then Interactive Brokers, ABKR, would be the other one.
I am shocked they're not already in because that's like the largest broker in the world. Surprised they're not already in there.
Yeah, so there you have it. Maybe that's going to be one that could get the lift. Now, one thing that's telling me it's not this one is the recent price action, right? Like not getting the buy the rumor on that one compared to, let's say, a Hood, right? That's taking off, right? But just this is all speculation, right? We don't know exactly. We know that these are some of the companies that are being watched. Why? Because of a Bank America note that was given out yesterday.
Well, and right, this is one of those things that that shows you that there is no such thing as passive investing.
Yeah.
Because the fact that we don't know for sure what's going to be in it or what's not going to be in it just tells you that there is some discretion to this. So it means there's a bunch of nerds in the room that are deciding what's in the S&P 500 and what's not, which by definition makes it not a passive index, right? It is an active index. A passive index would have just say 500 of the largest companies by market cap, and that's it. That would be still active in a way because it's adding and removing. But yes, this is not a passive fund. So that's why the whole term passive investing kind of bothers me. It's not passive. You're just giving it to someone else to do. You're just saying that market cap is a good way to weight stocks, which based off past returns seems to be the case. And you're okay with these nerds deciding which one to get in. Because I remember there's this whole Tesla drama forever in which there was, there's will Tesla be at it, won't it? Because it made the market cap requirements for a long time, but then they wanted a certain number of quarters of profitability. And again, there's this whole laundry list of things you need to do. And then on top of that, you need to also do additions to that when it comes to just their own discretion of whether or not they're going to let you in. So Yeah, not a passive fund by any stretch of the imagination. Very, very active.
We'll see what happens. SPY continuing now 597, definitely making the move back up there. And now you can start to see if some other stocks start to climb with it. I'd be watching. Of course, I talked about the Bitcoin names. Can they make a comeback? MSTX make a comeback there, trying to make the move there. I don't mind it at all. I'm looking still at Clean Spark. That would have been a buy for me right through the VWAP. I didn't have the ammo to trade it again, but I think this could eventually make a move to 10. We'll see what happens on some names out there. VIX breaking the low there. That can give some moves on some other stocks. And I start taking a look to see what's leading the market. Of course, Bros was leading earlier in my watch list. I'll take a look to see if it's leading now. Actually, Pony with the flip there. Nice flip there. Remember, your system said maybe Pony long there. There's a Pony long there. Look at that breakout through the 1280s. Really
Did
squeezing.
not take it.
Squeezing.
My Tesla's grinding higher. So
the Grail finally going, man. I'm battling myself not to add to it right now, but I do have a piece, so I'm not going to add to it and ruin my entrance here. But Grail really starting to get going, and trust me, there's some big boys in this. So I'm going to be watching to see if this really gets going. Of course, AMD is one that I already had. It is trying to recover on the day. I'll continue to watch to see if it can recover VWAP and get back to the high. That would be a good sign for AMD overall. Taking a look to see what else is making the move today. Of course, Hood, Palantir. We talked about it. It could bounce back, especially above the 130s in the pre-market. And that was in the pre-market when it wasn't ripping through that 130. It ripped it right out the gates, pulled back to it. I think this was the real nice move where it went to 129.70 or 129.69. So 30 cents off that whole dollar, right? And then recovered it and hasn't come back to that whole dollar. That was the area probably where it made sense to buy. If you didn't get that opening rip, you're catching that first dip down below the VWAP, closer towards that 130. And look how the thing's been reacting since. And it did this VWAP hold on 131, which I'd like to see it hold VWAP now and continue stair-stepping higher. We'll see what happens on some other trades. I'm still looking around. Ava ARM doing well now. Zscaler is a good stock to see doing well, which is a momentum name right now. And Snow keeps chugging along. I mean, man, I wish I would have had the swing account when I was looking at it here in the 180s, because this has been a big lift up in Snow. So nice move and continuing to push there. I know that someone had mentioned Pan W in the chat. That's continuing. I remember when I saw this down gap and it's down gap here and it's continued. Will it get to 200? I think it has 200 all over it. We'll see what happens on that one. Some people are trying to catch CrowdStrike, do the same move now. Down gap. Will it just come right back? Could fill that gap right back there. We'll see what happens on those names. Any names you're keeping an eye on, Michael, today, and then we'll wrap up?
Nothing today. Tomorrow's the day. Today is the day to do as little as possible, I think. Work on some algos, do that kind of stuff. Tomorrow's the day to trade, I think.
All right. Like always, guys, sign up for our competition. We'll be back on Monday. But like always, the one team, one account trading competition from the 6th to the 18th, 675,000 in prizes and more, one for all. Go ahead and sign up, guys. Threw up the link in the chat there. Going to throw up the link one more time here. You guys, like always, sign up for the competition. We'll see you there, and we'll see you back right here. Like always, smash the like before you get